Welcome, everybody, to another rendition of Delete Laws. How is everybody doing today? Do me a favor, everybody, hit the like button if you would, please. This will be a fairly, we're trying to get in and out of here within 1 hour. I have a 3 p.m. I got to get a hard out, but I wanted to talk with you guys a little bit. Now, we're going to go over a few things today. However, um, the way how's everybody doing? What's going on? John Smith, what's going on? American Journalism Project. Everybody, do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button real quick. I'm going to show you guys something today that you may not have known before, and this is something that you're so hit the like button. Type in the comment section if you would, please. OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. Put in the comment section if you would, pretty please. I'm going to see the comment section fill up with OTVO, and hit the like button. So, you guys may have just. How many of you guys were just over on Brian's channel over on Here's the Deal? And let me just say something. I got nothing but mad respect for Brian. I think he's one of the best guys on all of YouTube. When I came to social media, I understood that there was, like in any entrepreneur, an entrepreneur takes a look at the market and says, there's a hole in the market. And when I took a look at social media and the reason why I became the leader that I am on social media is because I saw a real, not only a big gaping hole in the market, but I saw a lot of things that are not based in understanding historical precedent and understanding the facts of history. And so, I just saw Brian. I think he's going to have a debate with one of these statist losers who is all about, big government and how the government's the greatest thing ever. Let me just say something. This particular government, the Constitution, is the base of the rule of law. So that when you hear me say ROL, rule of law, I'm talking about your Bill of Rights. I'm talking about the U.S. Constitution. And so now I am a constitutional law scholar. That means I have read. Okay, I have spent a long time reading things and learning things to be able to say I'm a constitutional law scholar. And one of the things that I've studied in such amazing detail is history. And the history of the world says that government, we don't have a government that's based on the rule of law. We have a tyrannical government that's out of control, where power has corrupted men and women. We know this because the big money in our government right now is still sending money to Israel as we see thousands of kids with amputated legs. I'm Jewish. I want it to stop. And I come from Jewish heritage. So with that being said, now here's the thing. Without government, without the rule of law, without a founding document that everybody has to follow, including kings, monarchs, princes, and rulers, without the rule of law, it goes to absolute and total chaos. Government is a needed function. I don't love it. I don't love this tyrannical jackboot thug pig government. However, now what I did, because I could sit here and say, I'm a constitutional law scholar, blah, 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 right? Who gives a shit what I think? I could just be some dunce cap up here selling snake oil. So what I did is I put into Chat GPT, explain to me the history of what happened with countries that didn't have a government, a rule of law, or a social contract. That's the question that I asked to Chat GPT. And this is the answer that I got. And then we're going to go on because we have to talk about Holly Barlow. But this information right here, this hopefully will help Brian at Here's the Deal in his upcoming debate against that statist. I am not a statist. I do not worship government. I know for a fact government is needed. And here's the reasons why. Here's exactly why government is needed. So remember what I put in there. I said, hey, explain to me. It says the concept of the rule of law, particularly as established by a constitution, is indeed central to the idea of a modern republic like the United States. However, before the American Revolution in 1776, many societies and countries struggled or failed due to the lack of such structured governance. And what is that governance? A constitution, a republic, the rule of law. You see, this is what I've studied for 2 decades before I became a public figure here on the internet. Ancient republics, classical republics like Athens, which started 400 BC, before Christ existed, and it lasted for 1,300 years. Classic republics like Athens and the Roman Republic had forms of written laws and government, but they did not have a single comprehensive constitution as understood today. The lack of a unified constitution contributed to internal instability, especially in Rome, where the conflict between different groups led to the eventual transition to an empire. And what's an empire? It's led by a monarch, by a king, by a ruler, because there was no comprehensive constitution that all kings have to live under as well. Without the rule of law, without government, it turns into bellium omnium contra omnes, a war of all men against all men. This is Thomas Hobbes' description of the nature of man in his book Leviathan, written in the 16th century. Before modern era, many European kingdoms operated under a feudal system. These systems were characterized by the rule of monarchs and local lords rather than a constitution. The constitution is what sets up your government. The lack of a constitutional rule of law often led to arbitrary governance, power struggles, and civil wars, as seen in various dynastic and religious conflicts in medieval Europe. So this is the pre-Columbian adventure, Christopher Columbus, 1452. Civilizations such as Aztecs and Incas had sophisticated systems of law and governance, but they did not have a constitution in the modern sense. Their downfall was more due to external factors like European conquest, but internal governance issues also played a role. Empires in Asia, empires like the Mongol Empire in India and the Ming Dynasty in China had complex legal systems, but no singular constitution. Their decline can be attributed to a variety of factors, including internal corruption, weak rulers, and external pressures, but the absence of a constitution, of a constitutional framework for the rule of law, was also a significant factor. You cannot have a constitutional framework, you cannot have rule of law, cannot have it without government. African kingdoms, various African kingdoms and empires such as the Mali Empire or the Kingdom of Congo had their own systems of law and governance, yet they did not operate under a constitution. Their decline was of internal strife and external invasion or colonization. In all of these examples, the absence of a constitution as a singular unifying legal document, the rule of law was often subject to the whims of rulers. The rule of law was subject to the whims of rulers. That's why your Bill of Rights is so important, why Patrick Henry said, we will not ratify that Constitution unless you have a Bill of Rights attached to it. And James Madison said, I'll join you in that then, Mr. Patrick Henry, even though we don't agree on a lot of things. The rulers of the prevailing elite, rather than being a stable, consistent framework, the idea of a republic constitution as exemplified in the United States was a significant development in the concept of governance, providing a more stable and predictable rule of law. Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand? Before the U.S. created this experiment called a constitutional republic, before that happened, kings and monarchs and princes and elites did whatever the hell they wanted. No government, no rule of law meant that any prince or king or monarch could take your house, take your wife, burn it down, take her to his castle and steal all your cattle and take your kids to work in the farms for the rest of their lives. The rule of law, the Constitution, government, well, the idea of government, the United States government is corrupted to the core. They've created so many millions of laws that they can just get you on anything. And that's what we're experiencing today, that we're over-governed. There's too many laws. Elon Musk said this in one of his recent speeches, that we have thousands and thousands of laws. So government, while we don't like this government, we like the paper that's written, the Constitution, don't we? Do we like the Constitution? We do. There's some racism in there. There's some 3/5 compromise crap. Article 1. There's some stuff in the U.S. Constitution that is shit. But the overall idea of our government is that we could wipe these people out of government and reestablish a new government, new people in government, and we would have the same paperwork. You see, government is a necessary evil. I'm running for governor. Why am I running for governor? Why have I said I'm going to run for governor and I'm going to win? Why is that? Why am I doing that? Because when you're in government and you have power, you can change that we live by a constitutional standard if you're the executive in charge. How many executives are in the United States of America? 51. 50 governors and 1 president. There's 51, mostly men in America, who sign law into effect. Nobody else does. There's only 51 executives in the United States of America. Why do you think I've said I'm going to run for governor and I'm going to win? If you're a governor of a state in a country of 314 million people and you're one of 51 people, boy, you really have built up a following for yourself. You really have some big ideas that for change that you can implement because you understand how that government structure works. If you don't understand government, then you say, government's horrible. We hate government. We hate government. I just showed you the history. The history, if you don't have a government, I don't love this tyrannical government. It's tyrannical to the core. It's corrupt to the core. This isn't rule of law in the streets by these pigs. This is tyranny. So it's sad, but the rule of law and the government is needed. And the idea, just so you know, go back to our founding fathers. John Jay, what does John Jay do? What does John Jay do? John Jay, after we win the American Revolution, John Jay goes over to England and cuts a deal to pay them back called the John Jay Treaty. I'll pull it up and I can show it to you. 1794, 1795. Well, what does that do? When John Jay creates a treaty with Great Britain in 1794, what does that do? That stops the war. That stops any more war. Great Britain says this government is going to pay us back, give us our money, and so we can walk away from this. John Jay didn't cut a great deal. But the point is, it took government leaders talking to other government leaders to end the war. I wish this wasn't a fact. I wish I didn't know these things. Government is needed. I don't like it. I don't like that we have a corrupt, tyrannical government. I don't like that the people in government are tyrannical and corrupt. But we are based on a constitutional republic. And before a constitutional republic, the world failed. The little man could just get mowed over. And what are we experiencing now? The same thing in a country that's supposed to be based on the rule of law. And so when I hear people say that government's a concept that's not needed, that's just not true. Government is a concept that has been around for centuries. The application of governance, the constitutional republic, the Bill of Rights, those are all brand new from 1776 forward. There's never been a constitutional republic. There's never, ever been a Bill of Rights. We're the first country. Do you get it? We live under John Locke's principle of natural law that every man is entitled to life, liberty, and property. Where does that idea come from? 2 treaties of government in 1690. What's the name of the essay that John Locke wrote? 2 treaties of government in 1690. He actually wrote, just so you know, he wrote 2 treaties of government in 1684. He finished 2 treaties of government in 1684. And then he read the book, he read the thesis that he had written, which is extraordinarily difficult. If you can read 2 treaties of government, I bow down to you. Please teach me lectures. You're smarter than me. Okay. So 2 treaties of government, he finished in 1684. He read the thesis and said, nobody's going to understand it. I'm smarter. This is what John Locke realized. I'm smarter than everybody else. So he wrote 2 treaties of government in 1690. And then he said, you know what? No one's going to understand this. So he spent the next 5 years writing another thesis called Essays in Understanding Humanity. And in Essays in Understanding Humanity, John Locke lays out how there are shepherd and there are sheep. There are leaders and there are followers. John Locke never says there are rulers. And that's what we have in this country here today. We have pigs who are rulers over us. There are rulers. There are kings. And that's how we've lost the rule of law. That's how government has become tyrannical, when it goes against its own principles, when the people we put in charge to be judges work against the constitutional principles that were set forth by our founding fathers. Those sets of principles set forth in 1793 when the Constitution was ratified with the Bill of Rights included was the first and only document that has ever in the history of time contained a constitutional republic and a Bill of Rights. Never has existed before. We are the first and we are the only. You do not have free speech in Canada. You do not have free speech in Great Britain. You do not have free speech in Germany. You do not have free speech in France. You do not have free speech in Shitsbobway. Okay? We're the only country. So what does that come from? That comes from government. That's a government document. without that government document, without Patrick Henry telling James Madison and Thomas Jefferson, the Constitution will not be ratified until a Bill of Rights is inserted. Okay? So you have to understand. You have to understand the history of what government means. This government has turned tyrannical, jackboot, thug, pigs. We know it. Put a 1 in the chat if you know it, that this government has turned tyrannical on us. So I will put this document on my website, deletelaws.com, so you guys can take a look at it. This came straight from ChatGPT, and it literally lays out that without a constitutional republic and without a constitution, without a rule of law throughout the history of hundreds and hundreds of, and this didn't even go into the Middle East. This didn't even go into the Norse. This didn't go into so many different things that it could have covered, and it did not. So I was just watching Brian at Here's the Deal, and I absolutely love Brian. One of the best channels on all of YouTube. Here's the Deal. He's going to debate a guy that's pro-government. I am not pro-government. I just know that government's necessary. It's not what I want. Let me ask you a question. If I don't win governorship, are any of the policies of the police going to change? No. If a peon, and we're all peons, if you're one of the 400 people here right now, the peons, we are the peons. We are the absolute just, fodder for the cannon. They don't care about us, right? One of us becomes the executive. We can change this government from the top down. I know it because I understand how government functions and government works. I've spent decades studying this. Remember, we just met 2.5 years ago when I became public. So instead of me saying, I promise I know, I just showed you guys a document, and it clearly shows. All right. Let's switch gears a little bit. You guys remember the other day I told you I went by this channel called Venomous Minds, and I really, really liked the presentation that Venomous Minds gave. And so I watched a few of Venomous Minds videos. I will drop the link down in the chat below. The slow death of Holly Barlow, caught on CCTV. Jail withheld prescription meds and let her die. So what a lot of people, just so you guys know, when I go into the comment section of my Instagram or YouTube, you will see people who say, the hyperbole, you're calling it a dungeon, bro. It's not a dungeon, okay? You want to see a dungeon, go to China or North Korea. And so we compare our idea of freedom, our idea of a constitution and Bill of Rights, to communist China, to dictatorship North Korea. That's what the bootlickers will do. So we call it a dungeon, and this is the reason. Put a 1 in the chat if you've been to the dungeon, and you easily can say it's a dungeon with dungeon masters and torture devices, the chair with the suit. They have all these things with the pepper spray, that for a fact that if you've ever been to a dungeon, it's a dungeon. So I want you to do me a favor. When you read someone who puts something in my comments that says, oh, it's a dungeon, it's hyperbole, respond, and let them know that it's an absolute and total dungeon. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is disturbing to watch. This is disturbing. I just want to let you know that up front.
It's April 5th, 2019. Holly Barlow Austin, age 46, is brought into the Bi-State Justice Center in Texarkana, Texas, for violating the terms of her probation. No one has any way of knowing it, but Holly is going to end up serving a much harsher sentence than anyone could likely ever imagine. That's because after about 2 short months at the Justice Center in Bowie County, Holly, at that point, age 47, will be pronounced dead. The CCTV footage you're about to watch documents Holly's final, tortured 48 hours.
Tortured. Put that in the comment section. Tortured.
Spent in what LaSalle Corrections, the private owners of the jail.
LaSalle Corrections is a privately owned jail. There's someone making money from you going to a dungeon.
Refer to as a medical observation cell. Please remember that some of this footage is going to be hard to watch and that viewer discretion is therefore advised.
Today's date is June 7th, 2019. The time is currently...
Does that look like a dungeon to you? They put her on the floor, gave her a little mat, put her on the floor. There's.
The time is currently.
She has to eat on the floor. Where's the soap and water to clean up?
137. We're located at Medical Op 3 with Miss Barlow. Miss Barlow, do you want to go to see the doctor?
No.
At this time, the offender has stated she does not want to go see the doctor.
No, they don't ever do nothing.
Ma'am?
They don't ever do nothing.
Okay. At this time, the time is 13:38. We're going to secure the camera.
As stated before, the clip you just saw was filmed at the very start of what would be Holly's final 48 hours on the floor of her putrefied cell at a corrupt jail in Bowie County, Texas.
It's a dungeon. Put that in the comment section. That's a motherfucking dungeon.
As we can see from the very get-go, Holly doesn't appear to be feeling her best. She's lying there among what looks like garbage strewn around the cell, on a nasty floor that at least looks like it hadn't seen a mop since the day the cell was built. Important to note is that Holly isn't lying in bed simply to pass the time, as boring as I imagine it is. Holly is not known to be the lazy type, or the type to complain for no reason.
Look at her. Look at Holly. Look at Holly. Look at
Holly
her.
is not known to be the
Look at Holly dancing.
lazy type,
Look
or
at
the
her. She's a person. She's a human. This little girl loved her. They had it.
type to complain for no reason. Those who know her well would probably find this version of Holly unrecognizable. In other words, this isn't a bid for attention. Something is definitely wrong. And yet, here we watch as a staff member makes this recording presumably to document Holly denying that she wants to be seen by a doctor in the event that things should take a turn for the worse. What's ironic is that during her time here, Holly has all but begged to be seen. She has not only asked for assistance verbally, but she's put in numerous official written requests for medical help. These requests have cited concerning symptoms that include but are not limited to dizziness, loss of appetite, excruciating headaches, and the inability to stand. It's said that these requests for help have either gone ignored or else, pretty much as Holly is heard saying herself, when she does get seen, they quote-unquote never do anything. As defeated and sad as the situation seems now, it only gets worse from here. As you'll see, for the next several days, Holly will be left in this cell. Most of the time, she's observed being left alone, but on occasion, people will come and go. Employees occasionally take notice of her declining health, but ultimately choose to do nothing. Oh, and just FYI, while this footage doesn't have any sound to it, you probably don't need to hear much to see that something isn't right. In the beginning, we notice Holly just seems to be fidgeting around as the time ticks slowly by. It's impossible to tell what Holly's restlessness may be from, whether she maybe can't get comfortable as the result of a medical issue, or else perhaps this is just due to the naturally and intentionally uncomfortable quality of the jail cell itself. One thing that is perhaps more important to note, however, is that in all of her first 12 hours spent inside this cell, Holly has not brought anything to eat or drink that we are able to observe. In fact, a complaint filed by her family later on will allege precisely that for 12 hours, Holly was deprived of water. It doesn't take medical training to know that this is an unacceptable amount of time for a person to go without water. Finally, we are able to see that the
I mean, I just, we take a look at this and I just wonder, what are we teaching her? And which way is she being corrected? How are things going? Look at her. Why are we doing this to another human being instead of getting the most out of them to be the most productive member of society that they can possibly be? Why do we treat people like this and think we lock them up, we let them out, and it's worse for you and me who don't go to prison? I'm not a felon. I've never been to prison. We put people in prison for years on end, and when they get out, it makes our culture worse. Not the elitists who are making money. Remember, this is a privately owned. There's an elitist making millions of dollars off this. It doesn't affect him. They dump her off back into society, and she's worse for you and I. She's 5 steps behind. She can't keep up. She can't update her iPhone even. She doesn't even know how to use her iPhone. Look how they're treating a human being.
Staff at last gets around to bringing her some. This is an unacceptable amount of time.
They cut off her water for 12 hours.
Her family later on will allege precisely that for 12 hours, Holly was deprived of water. It doesn't take medical training to know that this is an unacceptable amount of time for a person to go without water. Finally, we are able to see that the staff, at last, gets around to bringing her some. Did everybody manage to catch
I
that
saw
just
it.
now?
Yeah, she can't see.
In these last frames we looked at, it appears as if Holly is actually feeling around for
She
something,
can't see.
which ends up being her cup of water. Keep in mind that this is along the lines of how Holly appeared on the day she checked into the facility. So why does it now appear as if Holly has lost her vision? The cell is obviously well lit, and the guards seem to have no problem seeing just fine. The fact that Holly seems to be suffering from an onset of some degree of blindness is something that most people would react to. And yet, as soon as she clumsily manages to locate her water cup and take a drink, the staff member seems to quickly dart out of her way, and the two workers you see on the camera both...
No. So the narrator of this, great job. I love this channel. I'm going to share the link, but I want to show you something that I caught when I watched this last night, and I sat in my chair and I cried. I cried last night. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I sat there and sobbed. Wait till you see what this person does. You see the prison trustee right here. This woman's been locked in this horrible dungeon space, and they've left her in there for days and weeks. And now watch this guy right here. Watch what he does. He's trying to help the woman who's now gone blind. And watch him though. Watch him.
The staff member seems to quickly dart out of her way.
Look what he does. Watch.
And
he covers his nose because it smells so putrid in there.
the two workers you see on the camera...
Do you see him? He's still covering his nose because it smells so bad. That's where they put her.
Both seem in a hurry to leave, just as soon as they make sure to lock up the cell. Yet again, Holly is left completely alone. Just to make sure that everybody is clear on this one aspect, Holly was in what appeared to be good physical shape upon entering the LaSalle Corrections Run facility. Now, just about 10 weeks later...
LaSalle is a privately owned jail where someone's a multimillionaire from locking people in dungeons.
She is blind. That's only... Holly was in what appeared to be good physical shape upon entering the LaSalle Corrections Run facility. Now, just about 10 weeks later, she is blind. That's only one of a multitude of new symptoms she's been experiencing. The fact that no one, not even the jail's own medical staff, is showing the slightest bit of concern over this development is in itself enough to send chills up. Slightest bit of concern.
Look at her. Her legs are emaciated. Why are they doing this to another human? What did she do so wrong to be treated like this? She better have kidnapped and killed children.
Over this development is in itself enough to send chills up one's spine. Who are these cruel and heartless individuals that make up the staff of the Bi-State Justice Center, and what has happened to their humanity?
It's gone.
On June 10th, we can see how a team of individuals, including a licensed vocational nurse, come in to take a look at Holly. During this quick visit, Holly's vitals are surprisingly taken, but then at the same time, you've got to wonder, what was the point? Because when her blood pressure is recorded at 177/123.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm not sure if you guys remember this or not, but when my blood pressure was 190/105, I was hospitalized and had to spend 2 days in the hospital. So her blood pressure was 170/123.
Her resting heart rate documented at 130 beats per minute.
130 beats in 60 seconds is 2.1 beats per second. Meaning that her heart cannot get blood to go to shunt through her body.
Again, no one bats an eye. Just so it is clear, Holly's blood pressure and her heart rate, especially when resting, are both unusually, if not alarmingly, high. This, along with the fact she cannot see and that she lacks the ability to stand on her own, should have had the staff acting quickly to obtain emergency treatment for Holly. Instead, once again, they do nothing. Instead, we can see as the team leaves the cell just as calmly as they entered. At the risk of stating the obvious, no one sends for help. In the late hours of June 10th, Holly can be seen strangely almost crab-walking around her cell or scooting herself around the floor without really much purpose at all.
Oh my God.
Knowing that whatever Holly is sick with has managed to affect her vision, we can't help but wonder if other areas of her brain haven't already been adversely affected as well. I think that something should probably also be said about Holly's outer appearance. She seems to be sporting a more emaciated frame with each passing day. Likewise, her legs appear to be atrophied. All in all, it should be clear to anyone watching that this woman's behavior and movements are not quite normal. And anyone at the jail should have been able to see it by this point, not only those who are medically trained. Quite remarkably, at one point, an employee of the jail was heard accusing Holly of faking her symptoms. Such an accusation is so heinous that in the spirit of sparing you a rant of mammoth proportions, I won't even begin to remark on this one beyond simply stating how incredibly disgusted I am. It should be more than obvious to any 5-year-old that this patient is in need of some critical assistance, especially since it is known that she did not come in looking this way. And, even on the off chance that this patient had spent the last month or so actually faking these symptoms without once breaking character, so-called medical professionals should always know that in such cases they need to err on the side of caution. Get the patient help. If it turns out she was faking it, what have you really lost? On the other hand, if it turns out it wasn't an act and the patient dies as a result, then the same could obviously not be said, as the loss would be immeasurable. The fact that anybody could observe Holly, or any human being, in this kind of a state, do nothing about it, and then go home at night and actually sleep, should make us all at least a little bit concerned as with regard to the question of what kind of horrible people walk among us. For the duration of this video, Holly can be seen moving around her cell, unable to find a proper position in which to achieve any semblance of decent rest.
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I'm right back where I was last night at 4 o'clock in the morning, watching this human being crawl around on the ground, disoriented, malnourished, and thirsting to death. I don't know how someone can look through a camera and see this happening to another person and then go in and yell at them and tell them that they're faking it.
She never does seem to remain in any one position comfortably for more than 10 seconds or so. We can also only guess as to her state of mind, as well as to what other various aches and pains she might be being forced to endure.
She's literally tripping. Her brain is frying. Her brain's frying. She has no nutrients. She has no liquid. She has no comfort. She probably has sores and lesions. She probably has a yeast infection.
Finally, as the footage now shows, 2 staff members enter Holly's cell with a wheelchair and they manage to lift her up and onto the chair without much trouble.
Look at her ankles. Look at her legs. Look at her calves. Look at the floor they put her on. Look at the
It's
dungeon.
nearly impossible not to notice how frail Holly appears at this point, her body looking very ragdoll-like.
She can't function at all. Oh my God.
Following this moment, Holly is moved.
I mean, do you realize that this is the first time she's got to sit down in a chair like a regular human being? In how long? I don't know.
Following this moment, Holly is moved to a nearby hospital. The date of this transfer is June 11th, 2019. Astonishingly, no one in Holly's family is informed about her transfer from the jail. Nobody has any idea that she's in the hospital, much less do they know about the horrendous condition that she is in. A few days later, on June 15th, when Holly's husband shows up at the jail for his regularly scheduled visit, he is stunned to be told by staffers that Holly isn't there. Even more unbelievable was the jail's refusal to disclose Holly's whereabouts to anybody. It is only after calling the sheriff's station that any of Holly's relatives finally are able to learn of where she had been taken, and even that had not proven easy. Michael Glenn Austin, that is Holly's husband, recalls rushing to the nearby Texarkana hospital right away,
Charlie.
only to discover Holly not just totally unrecognizable, but also literally clinging to life. In a teary televised interview, but also literally.
I want you to take a look at this right here at 11 minutes and 54 seconds. I want you to take a look at this. And then I want you to take a look at this right here.
Holly, at that point,
She was a person. She had a husband. Someone loved her.
to anybody. It is only after calling the sheriff's station that any of Holly's relatives finally are able to learn of where she had been taken, and even that had not proven easy. Michael Glenn Austin, that is Holly's husband, recalls rushing to the nearby Texarkana hospital right away, only to discover Holly not just totally unrecognizable, but also literally clinging to life.
Look how small she is. She looks like a 12-year-old boy. She's lost so much weight she has no more breasts left. And she was a chesty woman we saw.
In a teary televised interview, he describes having been overwhelmed by the feeling that Holly had been holding on as hard as she could, waiting to see her family one final time before finally letting go. Because surely enough, after she and her loved ones had
She held on long enough to say goodbye.
said their goodbyes, in a manner of speaking, it was only a few more hours before Holly's agony would finally end. There, at the hospital, on June 17, 2019, at the age of 47, Holly Barlow Austin was pronounced dead. Holly's cause of death was officially listed as sepsis, as well as fungal meningitis and accelerated hypertension. Also complicating the situation, meningitis.
I'm not a doctor. I can tell you somewhat what these things mean.
Cause of death was officially listed as sepsis, as well
Bacteria,
as fungal meningitis,
fungus,
and accelerated hypertension.
high blood pressure, 175 over 123.
Also complicating the situation was the fact that, at the time, Holly had also been learning to live with a potentially life-threatening diagnosis, HIV. Despite living with such a serious illness, she had been, up until entering the Bi-State Justice Center, living pretty well. Perhaps the only catch was the fact that her immune system did rely on a certain prescribed medication she needed to take daily. But this should have, under normal circumstances, not proven itself to be a problem, even behind bars. As records would later divulge, the jail knew of Holly's illness, and they knew that her life literally depended on her taking said medication. Furthermore, they had Holly's medication available on hand. Her husband knew this for a fact because it was he who had hand-delivered a fresh prescription of Holly's meds to the jail himself, just shortly upon her incarceration and the discovery that she would be kept at the facility in what's known as pretrial detention. Astonishingly enough, even though they were equipped with everything they needed to ensure Holly's well-being, the Justice Center would ultimately drop the ball, and they would do so in more ways than one. If there's one thing that a person quickly learns.
So let me explain something to you guys. I lived in West Hollywood, California for over 20 years. And I have a very good friend who is HIV positive. And in the land of Hollywood, where there's actors and models and dancers, my friend got a job in another state. He's HIV positive. And my friend asked me, Chille, will you do me a favor and mail me my medication? I have to have, Charlie, please go to your pillow. Charlie. I have to have 1 pill a day. I have to take one of these pills a day. And I don't have to take them every day, but I need to take a pill at least every other day. And that keeps back my HIV. And so my only job was to get his medication and mail it to him in the state that he was working in as a model, actor, dancer. And I took the bottle of the HIV pills that he needed, and I went down to the doctor's place where he gets them, picked up this prescription, put it in a bag, just like I ship so many things. And can you believe it? They lost his shipment. This put me into a state of absolute panic. By the second day, when he didn't have his medication, I found myself down at the emergency LGBTQ center talking to one of the doctors there, because they do have emergency HIV pills in the cabinets there at the LGBTQ center in Hollywood, California. I went down there and I said, how much are they? The pills are $400 a day. So the fact that her husband brought her the pills, each pill's $400 a day. Because I said, I'll just pay for them. And he said, okay, that'll be $12,000. And I said, I don't have it. And so I ended up just crying on the medical director's desk, just sitting there crying and saying that my friend is going to die. And he went back to the back and he grabbed another bottle of the pills. And he said, what's the address? And we put the address and we overnight FedExed him. He helped me do it. And my buddy is still around today. Magic Johnson has lived since 1990 with HIV. It's 2023. That's 33 years. HIV is no longer a death sentence. You can live out a full life. Now, you're going to be effed up in the head because you're walking around with this tragic disease. But I just want to let you guys know my own personal story.
If there's one thing that a person quickly learns, if they decide to look into the life of Holly Barlow Austin, it's that she loved her family and her family loved her. Wanting nothing but even a shred of justice for Holly, Holly's mother and her husband together would file a lawsuit in federal court against Bowie County, LaSalle Corrections, and a handful of LaSalle's employees at the Texarkana jail where Holly had been housed. In its broadest terms, the suit alleged that the defendants had caused Holly's death. According to the Times record, the lawsuit stated that, quote, LaSalle guards and medical staff neglected her health care, falsified records to cover their failure to check on her, and ignored obvious signs that her condition was worsening. The staff furthermore neglected her health care.
How do you look at a CCTV camera? How do you see a woman crawling around on the ground like this? Her T cells must be way down. She must be dying. No white blood cells, because HIV stops you from being able to create white blood cells. So the meningitis in her brain can't, there's no way to stop it. Even if there was a way to stop it, she can't stop it. She's on a dirty floor. Where do you get fungus and bacteria from? From this right here.
Care. Falsified records to cover their failure to check on her, and ignored obvious signs that her condition was worsening. The staff furthermore failed to provide her prescribed medication, deprived her of food and water, and only took her to the hospital after it was too late. End quote. And that still wasn't all. According to the complaint, Holly had begun to fall ill following days of having not received her prescribed medication. And it was after this point that, left untreated, the symptoms would only continue to systematically worsen and pile up. As previously mentioned, said symptoms included everything from dizziness to loss of eyesight. Stunning that when tests came back showing that Holly's immune system was failing, employees still only sat idly by, doing absolutely nothing. Michael would himself recall that during one of his visits with Holly in the month of April, he had noticed that she appeared to be squinting at him. He also recalled her lamenting over the belief that they weren't providing her with her meds as prescribed. Since she continued to go without proper treatment, her condition would worsen, until at some point in the middle of May, she was placed on quote-unquote medical observation. This was where Holly was in the CCTV footage shown in this video. Clearly, being put on medical observation still.
Did you hear that? This is medical observation. This is where they're watching. This is crazy. This is the medical observation, just like Jeffrey Epstein, I guess.
Meant receiving no treatment, but also virtually no observation, and in Holly's case, it meant being deprived of food and water too. The Times record states that in the hour
look, look,
it meant being
here's Holly trying to have some dignity. She's only wearing shorts. There's
deprived of food and water too. The Times record
trying to pull her shorts down
states that in the hours of surveillance video around which our own story is centered around, Holly can be seen, quote-unquote, growing sicker, writhing in pain, and calling for help. They go on to reiterate much of what we already saw.
That is sick. So now when I call it a dungeon, do me a favor. Make sure that you tell people that we saw, and it's an absolute dungeon.
Quote, over a period of days, guards and medical staff didn't check on her or, when they did, ignored her calls for help and water, end quote. And of
no water.
course, a case like this is hardly ever complete.
Higher, James, higher. They have to go along the, higher, all the way up. Right, just below that, right? A little lower. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Without one more utterly sickening act, and that is the act of falsifying observation logs, which apparently is another terrible thing the jail did. If you recall that in our footage, on the 10th of June, we observed a nurse and 2 other individuals enter Holly's cell, finally, so that they could check up on her. It is stated that they decided to allow Holly to go to the hospital after they noticed her pupils had stopped reacting to light. Given the rest of the context they had to work with, a medical professional should have figured that this was symptomatic of something very urgent, and yet it still wouldn't be until the next day that finally Holly would be wheeled away in that wheelchair. By then, it would be too late. Holly was beyond the point of recovery.
I mean, what the hell are we looking at here? At this point, I'm past sad. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. How do you watch another human? How do you do this? How do you look at a video camera and say, oh, well, this is our policy. I can't do anything. What did I tell you about prison guards? What did I tell you about jail guards? What did I tell you? They don't care one bit. If you live, you die, you crawl around like a maggot. They don't care. They don't care. Look at this. How could you even...
We know this more or less for the fact that after being brought into the hospital, she didn't recover. One of the last things the lawsuit touched on was the jail's refusal to let family know where Holly was following the day of that transfer. The complaint even adds that after the family found out anyway, the jail still made further attempts to try and prevent them from seeing her. The lawsuit would be settled with the Barlow Austin family being rewarded a sum of $7 million, and as the family's attorney would perhaps rightfully boast, quote, this was the largest known settlement over a jail-related death in state history, end quote. Before we wrap up this installment, there's just one more thing that this story wouldn't be complete without mentioning. And perhaps we shouldn't be surprised by now, but it turns out that what happened to Holly is not an isolated incident. 2 months before Holly's death, for example, LaSalle reached another settlement in another lawsuit for an undisclosed amount. The suit had been filed by the family of a man named Michael Sabby, who had also died while under the care of the jail, albeit in 2015. Sabby's complaint, like Holly's, alleged that LaSalle employees had deprived him of the medications and treatment he needed for his heart disease and diabetes, primarily.
The following video, taken hours before he died, may be disturbing to watch.
It may be disturbing to watch. Do you think maybe it might be disturbing to watch that these people right here who've lost their humanity, they're doing a job for money so they can hurt people? All they have to do is follow orders, be willing to be inhumane and hurt people. These guys are disgusting.
Surveillance video given to CBS News from Michael Sabby's attorney appears to show a security guard at the Bi-State Justice Center throw Sabby to the ground.
Why is he doing that?
According to the lawsuit, Sabby wasn't feeling well and had stopped to lean against the wall before attempting to enter the booking area to make a phone call. A second video taken by a jail employee purportedly shows what happened after Sabby is on the floor. He's held down by 6 guards and pepper sprayed.
They're holding him down, so he's going to have a hard time breathing with 6 guys on top of him, and they're putting pepper spray right in his face. What kind of human does that to another human being?
On the floor. He's held down by 6 guards and pepper sprayed. Brought to a jail nurse for less than a minute, rinsed off, and returned to his cell. During the 9.5-minute video, Sabby says he can't breathe at least 19 times and asks for water.
Oh, please, water, please.
The next morning, jail guards found the 35-year-old dead on his jail cell floor.
So he reported at intake that he had hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, and asthma.
Eric Hype is representing Sabby's family in a lawsuit against the jail filed earlier this week. The suit claims jail staff didn't give Sabby his medications, ignored his labored breathing, and used excessive force.
Put a 1 in the chat if you've been to jail or you know someone who's been to jail and they did not give them their prescription medication. Well, let me add my 1 in the chat because I know a guy named Kent Freeman in Ironton, Ohio, that had a stroke in jail and had multiple heart attacks in jail because they didn't give him his medication. Kent Freeman, you can look it up on justia.org. Freeman versus Spulgeric. Kent Freeman is suing the Ironton Police Department for exactly what they did to him and the Lawrence County Jail for what they did to him. I know him. He sat down and told me his story. You guys can look it up. Kent Freeman, Kentfreeman. Look up the Kent Freeman video on this channel.
Sadly, the list of victims allegedly goes on. In the end, this all naturally, the list of victims allegedly.
Just so you know, when you are a jailer or a pig, they train you with pepper spray. They train you don't shoot the pepper spray right up in someone's face. You don't shoot it in their ears and you don't shoot it in their eyes. Watch.
It goes on.
Look, he's 2-3 inches away from the guy's head, spraying it in his eyes and his ears. Look.
In the end, this all naturally begs the question, if this private corporation is so corrupt, if these jails have a pattern of neglecting to provide medical care to their inmates, and there is a pattern of inmates turning up mysteriously dead in their care.
In Mississippi, remember, you got those 672 graves in the back.
Then where are the criminal charges? Why aren't there any investigations being conducted? This is a very good question, in fact. And to answer that question, let's just have a quick look at the controversial question of why Holly's death was never investigated. Anytime
Holly's death was never investigated.
That an in-custody death occurs in any Texas correctional facility, by law, that must be reported, and then subsequently it must be criminally investigated. In Holly's case, recall that, in spite of numerous requests for help, and in spite of the obviously foul condition she was in, jail employees waited until she was very near the brink of death to finally take her to the hospital. Then once she was at the hospital, recall that the jail staff tried all they could to ensure that Mike, the husband, did not find out her whereabouts. When Mike found out anyway, days after she'd already been languishing away in the ER, he says he arrived to discuss after.
Could you imagine being her parents? You know, she gets AIDS, HIV during her lifetime, and then she can live and continue to live if she just takes her medication. She can live pretty much a regular life. I mean, she has to be careful of her contact sexually with people who are not HIV positive. But her parents, as soon as you get, put a 1 in the chat if you know, if you get an HIV diagnosis that you feel like you have died. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. And so these parents have already dealt with the fact that they thought their daughter was going to die immediately because she was HIV positive. Come to find out, you can live a whole life just by taking these meds.
She'd already been languishing away in the ER. He says he arrived to discover Holly being in the horrid condition she was, of course, but also that guards from LaSalle Corrections had been presiding over her and over the whole situation for nearly 4 days. And it said, within hours of Mike and Holly's mother's arrival at the hospital, a paper was presented to them. The paper stated that Holly was officially released from jail custody. As we also know, within the next 12 hours, she was dead. Much to the shock of Holly's mother and husband, there would be no criminal investigation into the matter because, according to that paper, which had fluttered in after being signed by the sheriff at nearly the last minute, that one single bloody signature from the county sheriff absolved them of all and any would-be responsibility in the death of Holly Barlow Austin. Because how could the jail be responsible for a person's death if the person wasn't even in their custody at the time? And for anyone hoping to give this institution the benefit of the doubt, this was absolutely no accident on their part. In fact, by now it appears they were becoming rather skilled at using this particular loophole in order to avoid accountability for their actions. In 2011, for example, a man by the name of Ivan Earl Allen was found collapsed on the floor of his cell at one of LaSalle's numerous other facilities. Staff immediately ushered him away to the hospital. The state of Texas conducts a mandatory criminal investigation anytime a person dies in custody, yet there would be no investigation into Ivan's death. And this was due to the fact that after being found unresponsive and being scooted off to the hospital, a suspiciously similar paper surfaced that stated Ivan had been released from the prison's care. Therefore, by law, no investigation could be conducted. In the case of Holly Barlow Austin, if it seemed at all, and this was due to the fact that after being found unresponsive and being scooted off to the hospital, a suspiciously similar paper surfaced.
So the sheriff can just submit a paper to the hospital and say you've been released from the jail, and then the jail has no responsibility for you, even though they thirsted you and malnutritioned you and tortured you to death?
That stated Ivan had
Sheriff Prince? Sheriff Prince? Is that what that says?
been released from the prison's care. Therefore, by law, no investigation could be conducted. In the case of Holly Barlow Austin, if it seemed at all strange, as for why the workers at the Bi-State Justice Center had been so adamant that she not be seen by family members, it starts to make a little more sense when we frame it against these other new findings. If you think about the fact that at that time, Holly had not yet been signed out of the jail's custody, one of two things is likely to be the most possible explanation for everything. Either the jail were actively trying to obtain a signed release and had been buying time in order to do so, or else they were uncertain as to whether she might still be able to recover, and thus they were keeping guard over her bedside to monitor her progress. And in the event that things should take a turn for the worse, they would be able to send for their little paper to be signed over right away. Except that, when the family laid eyes on the damaged and deplorable condition that Holly was in upon their arrival to the ER, LaSalle knew at once that an investigation would need to be avoided, given how obvious it would be to the family that Holly had not deteriorated to her current state in the time she'd spent under care of the hospital. Hence the arrival of the release only hours upon the family's arrival to see her. Had the family never been able to pin down her location, and then had Holly died, even in the face of an investigation, it may have been a bit easier to deny that Holly was in any form of seriously concerning shape upon being transferred to the hospital. On the other hand, had Holly somehow managed to make a miraculous comeback? Had she already been released from the jail? That fact right there may have raised a few eyebrows, with the question as to why. Either way, at the end of the day, it appears rather cut and dry. The guards presiding over her were merely waiting for Holly to die. Upon signs of obvious irreversible death, they would obtain their release and not be held responsible. This, it is said to have been uncovered, is the game that LaSalle Corrections has been playing for quite some time now. Except, as is often the case with corrupt, high-powered institutions, even those above them tend to either turn a blind eye or downright accept the wrongdoing and work to steer the public's attention in another direction. In spite of outcries from inmates, from family members, from the community, and even from the media, in spite of independent investigations and the discovery of some pretty damning evidence of wrongdoing, and in spite of numerous lawsuits and costly settlements, LaSalle Corrections somehow continues to dodge any form of corrective action being taken against them. To wit, Bowie County's top official, Judge Bobby Howell, are the time against them.
This is
to
where
wit,
this is where they arrested Floyd Wallace, right here on the Texarkana line. This is right here where Floyd Wallace got arrested. He was taken to this jail right here.
Bowie County's top official, Judge Bobby Howell, at the time of the lawsuit pertaining to Holly's in custody death, had publicly stated no comment with regard to the pending litigation. However, he did take the opportunity to praise LaSalle Corrections for a job well done on keeping COVID out of their jails. I think now we know why there has not been any real the opportunity to praise LaSalle Corrections for a job well done on keeping COVID out of their jails.
Sick.
I think now we know why there has not been any real justice pertaining to these inmates' deaths at the hands of LaSalle-run facilities. Judge Howell's statement is very telling, and in fact, it's also rather chilling. In a manner of speaking, we can now see the ceiling that keeps being hit anytime justice is pursued on any higher or significant level.
Why'd y'all wait so long to take her to the hospital?
I can't comment on that death in custody.
Last month, we went to Austin to a jail commission meeting. LaSalle executive Jay Eason was there. So was Bowie County Sheriff James Prince. She was in the hospital in critical condition and she's released. You're not going to say anything, Sheriff?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
I love that. That's too sweet.
Well, guys, as I'm sure you know, all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately, it's no different with this video. The good news is that if you enjoyed this content, and true crime stories in general, you can...
I did. And this is Venomous Minds. I told you guys this. I promoted this channel the other day. They had 5,000 subscribers. Let's get them another 1,000. Tell them Delete Laws sent you over. Here's the link right here in the comment section. Get over there and subscribe to this channel, and let's make sure we do what we do. I dropped a like, and then yeah, I already dropped some comments. And this was like, so I'll show you a couple things that I researched last night after I watched this that just made my blood boil. Remember that sheriff that signed off on the piece of paper? James Prince has worn the Bowie County Sheriff's badge for 20 years, but on Friday he's passing that torch to Sheriff Neal. Prince, 68, served 4 terms, which is the longest of any Bowie County sheriff. He was first elected in 2000 and took office in 2001. I've served 2 terms longer than any other Bowie County sheriffs. I've been fortunate, had a lot of good people working hard to keep me in office. When I was first elected, I hope I'd be able to serve 8 years. Thought it would serve 12. I had no idea it would be 20. He announced he would not run again. Shortly after receiving the Banks McFarland Lawman of the Year Award in the year 2019. The same year that Holly Barlow. The award is given annually to recognize outstanding pigs in Texas. Prince has about 50 years of total pig. That includes 10 years of being a pig in the U.S. Air Force. He joined Bowie County Sheriff's Office serving under the sheriff then, Thomas Hodge. He continued to serve as a deputy. Oh, what a bunch of shit. Some of the achievements and most proudful are his basic awareness safety education. Once again, it's about their safety and not about us at all whatsoever. He introduced the BASE program to replace drug and alcohol resistance education. The BASE program takes a broader approach, teaching children, oh my God, keep the pigs away from your kids. For the love of God, keep the pigs away from your children. Don't let the pigs near your kids. When you're going to have, make sure you find out from the school when they're going to send in the pig with the canine. I'm sorry. Is this the murderous jail? I'm trying to find the murderous jail. Is this it?
No, sir. You're calling Cotulla, Texas.
Okay. Where's the murderous jail? What's the phone number to the jail that murders people in LaSalle. Do you know that number?
Give me 1 second, sir.
Sure. Let's track down the right place here.
Okay, sir, Joe, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for the jail that Holly Barlow was murdered in.
Okay, give me 1 second.
LaSalle County Jail.
What jail is this?
LaSalle County, Cotulla, Texas.
LaSalle, Holly Barlow? Is Holly Barlow there?
No, sir.
Is that the woman who died there? That was left starved and thirsted to death by the jail guards there?
I don't think so.
Oh, I mean, I have a concept of God in my head, and I think anybody who does something like that's going to burn in hell. What do you think? Piece of shit, maggot. Piece of shit, maggot. All right. Let's take a second here. Shake it out, everybody. Wipe it off. Shake it out. Rest in peace, Holly Barlow. Everybody hit the like button, please. Everybody hit the like button. Hit the like button, if you would, please. And then put in the comment section, dungeons are dungeons. Dungeons are wrong. Dungeons are wrong. Nobody should go to a dungeon unless you're killing children. You don't. And then there's the children again, right? It's always about the children. What if you kill people? What if you kill like 10 people? Does it matter if they're 10 or if they're 25 or 30? I memean, I guess you cut their life off shorter, but dead is dead. Killing people is killing people. I'm not going to get stuck in that bullshit of it's always for the kids. It's not always for the kids. So I've watched, I mean, how do you guys feel right now? I mean, when you see that, how do you feel? How do you feel in your heart and in your head? How do you feel when you see that? It's just, oh, is that right, Dawn? God bless your son. I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right. How does that make you feel when you see that? It's just really, really bad. All right. I mean, I watched this at 4:00 in the morning and I sat there and cried. I watched this today and I sat here and cried. And so for Holly Barlow, just real quick, everybody, let's just take a moment here for Holly. This guy named Travis Hines. Let's exchange ID with Travis Hines. I've watched a lot of his videos, and this one came across my desk yesterday.
Were my eyes closed? Who are you?
I'm Officer Storms.
Storm? Okay. Yeah. Were my eyes closed or something?
It looked like you were closed.
They weren't. So you're lying already at the start of our interaction. What's the deal? Are you recording?
Yes.
Good.
You look like you're recording as well. So
good.
That works.
Looks like that's probably important to do at this point.
Okay. You okay?
Yep.
Okay.
How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Storm.
Is there a reason why your shoes are off?
What's the problem?
Well, this isn't like your personal place to.
This isn't.
This isn't your.
This
house.
is a park. This isn't. What are you talking about? What's the?
Did that pig just ask him why his shoes are off in the park? I don't know about you guys, but about once or a little more than that, maybe 3 or 4 times a week, I go to a park. I take my socks and shoes off and I walk on the ground barefoot. Spend about 10 minutes walking around barefoot on the ground. I do it a few times a week. So I take off my shoes at parks at least 3 times a week, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. I don't know what he's talking about.
What's the rules in the park? Don't they have rules posted somewhere?
Why are you're kind of behaving in an erratic manner. So
you're kind of making offensive comments to me.
How's he behaving in an erratic manner? You walked up to him. He was in a park, obviously laying down with his shoes off because you're standing crotch high. So it means he's sitting up now to deal with you.
Me about how I'm supposed to act in a park. And now you're blaming me. That's amazing with you guys. You start these issues and then you blame me for causing the issues when you're the one who's starting them in the first place. I'm curious, were you called or did you just stop?
No, I just stopped.
Okay, that's good.
So this is a Terry stop. This is a Terry stop. He saw someone sitting there and said, I'm suspicious of that person. And now some moron who doesn't have the qualifications to retread tires is now standing in front of you. This douchebag drove by, saw a free American in a park where you're supposed to go and lay down and take your shoes off, and decided he would Terry stop him.
Blame me for causing the issues when you're the one who's starting them in the first place.
He's walking up to him.
I'm curious, were you called or did you just stop?
No, I just stopped.
Okay.
So it's a Terry stop.
Okay, that's good for you to take initiative at least.
Yes, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, you like to do that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad. It's nice that nobody called you guys. I mean, at least. And well, it's also nice that you guys, take the initiative to come harass us too.
Talk and
are there a lot of problems out here?
There are actually.
Okay, because that's what I get the impression. Maybe that's why you're also giving me a hard time here, is because you guys have a problem. I've kind of noticed it. I'm not far from the community action, so.
Oh, is that where you hang out a lot at? Community action.
Oh yeah, every day for the past few years. Yeah.
Okay. I've never.
But you guys, you haven't? I haven't seen you before, Storm. What a coincidence.
Great.
But you're saying there are kind of some problems around here.
Yes.
What kind of problems do you get? Do you have
well,
people?
We have a lot of people that like to make other people feel uncomfortable by some of the things they do.
Yeah.
So people who are laying on park benches, sometimes we don't know if they're passed out or they dead. Everyone walks past them. No one wants to go up and check on them. So.
No one. No one wants to be Terry stopped. So no one wants to be Terry stopped. So Mike Proc here, Mike Proc asks, explain the unconstitutionalness of Terry versus Ohio. So we're at 2 minutes and 13 seconds here. Okay. So the Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. You missed the last 2 words on that description here. So that's your Fourth Amendment standard, that it's you have a right to be secure in your person, that you're confident that you're free and secure in your person, in your house, in your papers, and in your effects. Your cell phone is your effects against unreasonable searches or seizures. So this cop coming up to him and asking him questions, Travis could say, I plead the Fifth Amendment. You're not supposed to be investigated. You're not supposed to have anything happen to you without probable cause supported by oath or affirmation of the victim. The term reasonable articulable suspicion was created in 1964 by the Cuyahoga County Court Judge Bernard Friedman. And the reason it was created in 1964 is because John Terry was arrested in 1963, found guilty in 64. And then he wrote that cops could come up to you if they were reasonably articulably suspicious. So now what does reasonable articulable suspicion mean? You're in a park, in a public park, laying on a bench with your shoes off. And that's now suspicious. Suspicion is in the eye of the beholder. Now, you can listen to morons on YouTube who say that reasonable articulable suspicion is the standard between us and North Korea. I've literally heard auditors say that, unauditors say that. It's the height of stupidity. It's the height of ignorance. Reasonable articulable suspicion is the lowest possible standard, where someone can walk up to you and say, I'm suspicious of you. And now, because I have the authority, when they walk up to you, what's the second part, Mike? Now that they've walked up to you and said they're reasonably suspicious of you, now for officer safety, I walked up to you, you're in the park, but now I need to grab you. Where in the Constitution does this say you have the right to be secure in your person? Where does it say the cop gets a right to put his hands on you because he's suspicious of you? It was created for black people in 1964. Remember, the civil rights movement happened from 1954 to 1964. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, written by John F. Kennedy in 1963, signed into law by Lyndon Johnson in 1964 after JFK was dead, caused a cataclysmic change in our country. Republicans became Democrats. Democrats became Republicans. The Fourth Amendment, just 4 years after 1964, in 1968, the Fourth Amendment will be wiped away because blacks are freed in our country. They can just go milling around downtown. They can go into public parks. They can go into schools. And the white people didn't want that. And it wasn't some white people. It was the majority of white people. 80% did not want blacks going to the same school as their white daughter. It was all about sex. It was all about black guys dating white women. And it has been since the very beginning. Since the very beginning. So just there it is right there. And then then you have, they can walk up to you and say they're suspicious of you. Then they can walk up to you and pat you down, which makes you unsecure in your person. And then they can detain you. This says no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation. The cop walked up to you. He swears he was suspicious. He puts his hands on you and now puts you in torture cuffs. No warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause. There's no probable cause, but now they can put him in torture cuffs. That's the difference between probable cause, reasonable suspicion, and Terry versus Ohio. Terry versus Ohio is completely unconstitutional in every single way. It does not match up with our Fourth Amendment at all whatsoever. Be secure in their person, but I can walk up to you and pat you down. No, against unreasonable searches and seizures, I get to touch you for officer safety. I get to walk up to you and say, I'm suspicious of you, even though there's no probable cause. And now, no warrant shall issue, supported by oath or affirmation of the victim. Now I can put you in torture cuffs to detain you. This magical detainment space. It's fake. It was made for blacks. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. And remember, if you Google my name, you'll see that I'm some sort of crazy racist. They'll try to stop me from teaching you. Just remember, if I'm ever not here one day, check my website, delete laws. Check my website. I will come back. I will find another platform.
Park bench were my eyes closed. Who are you?
A lot of community activities.
Oh yeah, every day for the past few years. Yeah.
Okay. I've never.
But you guys, you haven't? I haven't seen you before, Storm. What a coincidence.
Great.
But you're saying there are kind of some problems around here.
Yes.
What kind of problems do you get? Do you have people?
Well, we have a lot of people that like to make other people feel uncomfortable by some of the things they do.
Yeah.
So people who are laying on park benches, sometimes we don't know if they're passed out or they.
What did he just say? We have people who try to make other people feel uncomfortable? Like you, asshole? Like you're the asshole making Travis uncomfortable while he's laying on a park bench.
Yeah.
So people who are laying on park benches, sometimes we don't know if they're passed out or they did. Everyone walks past them. No one wants to go up and check on them. So I thought I'd check on you, make sure you're okay.
Make sure I'm breathing.
I'm glad you're okay.
No, this is a Terry stop. Don't lie, pig. This is a Terry stop, bro. Don't try it. Don't even try. Everybody put it in the comments. This is a Terry stop.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for your cooperation. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You have a great day. Okay.
So, okay, all right, carry on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll carry on too.
I mean, you're there to harass him and bother him. He smacked listen to Travis. He smacks his side and then Travis mocks him and smacks his leg.
All right, carry on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'll carry on too.
Okay, well, we'd appreciate if you wouldn't just sleep. Like if you sit up and look like
Eat a dick, dude. He can sleep in the park all day long.
Okay, what's a law against closing my eyes laying on a picnic table? What's the law?
I don't care what you'd appreciate, pig.
Against that.
You have a good day.
Because it sounds like you're trying to enforce like
your own arbitrary ideologies.
The norm or something, some kind of social norm rather than the law.
No, Travis, he's trying to harass you.
It sounds like you're trying to take that angle, and that kind of, it's stretching the law in a lot of ways. If there's something that's written that's part of your statutes, I'd be interested in learning more about that. Where's the police station? Maybe
It's downtown, right over there.
It's that way. Okay, maybe I could go ask them about this what I consider stretching, but maybe they got something written that they can back up what you're saying, Storm. So
If you want to walk there, yeah, you can.
yeah.
Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Jackboot Thug Pig. Put that in the comment section. JBTP. JBTP.
That's a big car right there. What? What do you need? You're not the guy that's doing the driving, huh? The practice driving? You had me fooled. I thought you were the guy doing the practice driving.
Oh, someone out here in the lot.
Didn't you notice them? You noticed me. You're not pulling them over. You're stopping at me. What's the problem?
Say hey.
All right. Hey, what's your name? Hey, what's your name?
Officer Johnson.
Hey, John.
We don't want cops walking up to us and saying, hey, you're not my friend. I don't like you. I don't respect you. I strongly dislike you. Some people will say they hate cops. I would say something like that. A lot of people say they strongly dislike or don't trust cops. How do you say it? Do you say that you hate cops, that you strongly dislike cops, or that you don't trust cops? Which of those three do you say? I'm just wondering. I say that I hate cops because I hate cops. I don't hate the guy. I don't hate that piece of shit maggot demon that signed up to be a pig. I don't hate him yet. He can get me to hate him. I hate the cop. I hate that there's some pig driving around going, hey, I'm just running up to say hi and see what's going on. Yeah, I don't want you around. I want you to go investigate a crime of somebody who's the victim of a crime that had their rights taken from them. That's what I want you to do. How do you guys say it? How do you guys say it? Do you guys say that you hate cops? You strongly dislike cops? You don't trust cops? TDG says doesn't trust cops. How do you guys say it? I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering how you say it.
Johnson, how's it going?
Remember, you take a look at this guy and you think to yourself, man, he looks like he's a good looking young man, just under 30 or so, 27, 30, somewhere in there. And man, he looks like, remember, this person is a demon. That is an evil demon, this guy. Do you trust him? Do you trust that guy? You think you trust him?
You got a little something on your computer there for me? AQY.
AQY.
Right. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping. How is it around here? Is it going to get busy today?
On a Sunday, probably not.
I mean, you probably don't. What's that in your mouth? What are you chewing on?
Invisalign. It's like braces.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
because he couldn't afford to get Invisalign if he actually had to do a job that required a skill set. He couldn't host a podcast. He couldn't be a woodworker. He couldn't work as an executive. He couldn't work as a nurse. Can't work as any sort of skilled laborer. The only thing this jackboot thug pig can do is this job right here.
I'll admit I'm new here. I mean, that's probably why you're stopping. I'm like, I stand out, I guess.
No,
but
when I get cars in a lot like this, especially way back in here.
Yeah, I talk
like stolen cars and stuff again.
Oh, is that right? How many stolen cars? Put a 1 in the chat if this pig is lying. That parking lot does not get lots of stolen cars that get dumped here. That is such a load of shit. What a lie. That is not where they come and dump stolen cars. How many of you guys steal a car and then dump it? You might joyride a car. Most people steal a car to chop shop it, to steal the parts off it, for a joyride for the day. And then they may drop off the car there, but not lots of cars that are stolen or dropped off here. He's making shit up as he goes. He's literally just making it up as he goes.
You think it could be okay? Yeah, it's my car. Yeah, I'm just parking here for the day. The library opens at 1, so I plan on being here for a while. You'll see me. You'll okay. All right. Yeah, and it's okay. Did you grow up here? I know this is. I know this is new. You don't even see this on the Google Maps, the pictures from the top down. But how new is the transit center? Do you know, a couple years, or is it pretty?
10 years.
Oh, it's been here a while. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I looked inside. It's like it doesn't seem quite like it's a bus terminal, but also it supports the, I don't know, people want to stop here and bicycle down this nice trail.
Yeah, it's the transit center for the buses and the trailhead for the
trail. Yeah, it's just you don't see that. Usually a bus center is dedicated strictly for buses. It doesn't say that it's to support the trailhead too. But you got this nice big parking lot. And I think that, well, okay, they'll have their own parking lot at the apartment complex. I think you might probably have their own parking lot.
Beautiful, huh?
At the apartment complex. I think you might probably have future issues with people parking here and hanging out.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, that happens so much with the overflow issues. But I mean, the transit center may not be so busy that they'll even complain about that anyway.
No, usually during the week this will fill up a little bit.
Oh, in the week, okay.
Usually all these people are probably left going to work, so it's not a problem.
Okay.
And then it clears out at night.
Yeah, I've only seen this on the weekend, yesterday, and then now today. I saw it looked good yesterday, but yeah, if I came during the week, it could be.
Weekends are quiet. If you come middle of the day during the week, you'll see this filled up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's more than a library over there. They got a lot going on with offices supporting government functions and registration.
Yeah, it's the DMV as well.
Yeah. It's outside of the city enough though, so people really have to travel to come out. But now they're building houses so people can, be more closer to the services. Because
it's growing.
That's Minnesota.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's different ways of expansion. How they do that. The city helps out with planning that, and yeah. So you see the races yesterday?
I stopped out for a little bit.
You know what I'm talking.
So I want to answer Felicia's question down here. So Felicia, you'll often see that I talk to cops and I go at them. That's my job. That's my role. I realize I risk going to jail. I realize I risk being shot. That's the role that I've taken. That's the role that I got. That's the role that I was given. And so, the reason he's talking to the cop is he wants to expose him. Activists like Travis and myself, it's really sad to say, but do as I say, don't do as I do. Because remember, I rattled off a bunch of history and case law today because I'm a constitutional law scholar. And now I have the setup coming back up for constitutional law scholar here, which I'll be teaching. And what you want to do is you don't want to have that back and forth. You simply don't. You want to immediately pull out your cop card or your trifold and you want to say, I plead the Fifth Amendment, identify as a good citizen. I don't give ID without probable cause. That's what you want to do. You want to pull out your Fifth Amendment cop card. You hear that? It's just like a credit card, like a Visa card, like your driver's license. Thanks, Felicia. Thank you a lot. I hope I answered your question. So that's how we do it. It's it's a scary thing because you remember they already want to delete my channel. If I bring on that doctor, man, but just so you guys know, I got a big surprise for you on Sunday. On Sunday night, I have a very big surprise for you. So be ready for that on Sunday. That's the only reason I'm still where I'm at right now, because I have something going on Sunday.
Talking about, yeah. I checked them out a little bit. Yeah, that was interesting. How is that a once a year thing, or is it
at least once a year? Depending on the year, they might do it a couple times.
Okay, all right.
It's pretty common for them to come up and kind of shut down the area there.
Yeah, the beach is closed to the racing. But I was like, it's kind of cloudy and chilly anyway. I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah,
So all right. Crime is there's nothing, or is there, like you say, people dump cars? Is that you
yeah,
like
you'll get
the
cars sitting here that
you yeah. So if I could see like the history on your guys's I don't know, police logs or whatever, that would show that there's been a history of that kind of activity.
Absolutely.
And that's the first concern that you mentioned. Not drugs, not gangs. Oh, okay. It's just you just threw out the yeah. All right, and you also see me standing outside my car sewing. I just want to create some shade, and actually I've used these for so long now I have to repair them.
Yeah, looks like you dropped one feel of thread there.
Oh yeah, that's been there. But I keep the rear ones on all the time, but the front ones are off and on. So
sure.
I create shade. I mean, it's not going to be too hot today.
I mean, I love how Travis just patronizes the cop. He's an activist. This is what he does. He takes on cops. So remember, he's parsing his words. He's being very careful what he says. He's done this before. If you're unfamiliar with Travis Hines, he has hundreds of videos. So you may hear him sitting. I want to reiterate to you, you may hear him sitting here talking to this copper back and forth and back and forth. This is not what I want you to do. I want you to pull out your Fifth Amendment cop card, number 4, where the cop says, cop demands ID, says he has reasonable articulable suspicion. I want you to say to the cop, can I get it out of my wallet? And then he says, sure. And then you pull this card out and you say, would you like me to read this to you, officer? Or do you want to see it yourself? This is both what you're demanding my ID, saying you have reasonable articulable suspicion. What I do is in the yellow. Fifth Amendment. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. There's the law in the blue, officer. Hibble versus Nevada with reasonable articulable suspicion. Citizen must state how they ID. Do not give ID without probable cause. You just pulled up on me and said you're suspicious of me in a parking lot. There's no probable cause there. Do you want to hold the card, officer? I only got this card for this moment, for when you asked me for ID and I could tell you to go pound sand. That's the reason I have the card. So specifically, so I could tell you that you're a jackboot thug pig and that I don't have to give you my ID. Not only did I show you the card, I showed the camera the card. That way, if you demand my ID and you do an unreasonable seizure of my identification, I will sue you because I don't like pigs. Fair enough? Fair enough? I mean, that's the reason why Travis is talking.
It's a summertime thing more for me.
Oh,
just
it's a little warm in the car, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I'm a bit of a traveler.
So just remember, it's 5 minutes in. This cop's been sitting here talking to him, and this cop is investigating him, trying to find a crime to arrest him. Put a 1 in the chat if you know that. He's sitting here talking back and forth as a demon.
Oh yeah, I'm new to the area, and just I don't know. I want to stay for the library, and then
pretty good.
Maybe tomorrow I'll take off. Maybe you go to St. Croix Falls. How's that? I plan on
Scenic.
Okay.
Yeah,
good picture taking.
Yeah, you stop at the park there by the river. There's some pretty cool trails.
Okay. Yeah, because we're like 13 miles or so from that river. And I was reading there's a historical sign at the trailhead. If you ever stop to read the history of your pioneers in this area, they you haven't? Okay, it's interesting. It's just over there. Oh, I'll tell you too. If you try to use that bicycle pump, there's hornets. I found that out yesterday. That was
I mean, listen to Travis just taking this guy this way, taking this guy that way, just messing with him.
Yeah, you go ahead and just rattle that bicycle pump, and there's hornets on the top. But yeah, I read that sign. It said, like, specifically said we're 13 miles from the major river, the St. Croix River, I guess. So it was a bit of a struggle for the pioneers to settle down here because of that distance.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So it's good writing on the little.
Stop sometime and take a look at that.
Yeah, I'd recommend it if you haven't seen that. So yeah, I saw that. So yeah,
you good otherwise?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, just talking. I'm just talking.
No,
so
just fine. I thought we'd go through the empty lots here to check
okay.
cars and stuff parked here, making sure
all right.
they're not doing anything
Yeah.
they're supposed to be doing.
And I see, yeah, it's all sealed up. Somebody would have to break something down to get inside there if they wanted to.
That's not open yet. They're still.
Yeah, it's.
Still working on the inside.
Yeah, they got things going on. It's So
it'll probably be a couple months before they open that up.
And they have some high expectations. Maybe commuters. I mean, this is a transit center. Maybe they're looking at serving the commuters that go into the city or something.
Yeah, we're just far enough out of the cities that people will
drive
to the cities for work but live up here.
Yeah, this is like a commuting city, pretty much. It's
just close enough to the freeway to head to the cities. And
Yeah.
be there in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, go straight. Yeah, and it's crazy downtown. Driving downtown, it's just
Come through that way.
Yep. I went on the west side. I stay away from St. Paul, and it just curved around the west side of the Minneapolis, and you just like I noticed when I got to Edina, it was it was getting too much traffic jam for me. I didn't want to.
Yeah, South Metro is a lot worse than the north side.
The south is worse. Okay, yeah. There's some ghettos in the north, the immediate like North Branch and whatever that other one is. I bicycle. I have my bicycle. I was bicycling. I bicycled.
Up North Branch.
I've been through North Branch, and I forget names exactly of the city.
So, Ms. Constitutional Rights, right here. You guys know. I mean, you remember where we were an hour ago? I changed my appointment already for 3. So, where we were an hour ago, and our blood was boiling, and we were watching Holly be murdered by the jail guards. Ms. Constitution Rights is a little bit behind this live stream, and she's just seeing what they're doing to Holly in the dungeon.
Of the exact cities, but I bicycled 13 miles into the center straight from the north. So I was out far outside on the north side and bicycled to the library right in the center of the city, central library. And yeah, I found the ghettos. It's a nice stretch. And the north side, the North Branch, and then the one just north of that too. They were pretty rough. You kind of know the Pint. That's okay. I'd have to Harris. I don't quite remember. But there's just the immediate north. There's just some real ghetto. But I'm sure just the immediate circle around the centers might be rough.
Hit up Roy, y'all. Roy's giving out memberships. Thanks, Roy. I appreciate it, man.
Any town's gonna have their areas that are a little rougher.
Town, yeah.
We've got ours too.
Yeah, we're talking like extreme. Like when you're in metropolises, you look at the most extreme behavior compared to.
What is the cop's goal? The cop's goal is to pull you over, impound your car, take you to the dungeon, and steal your money. Remember that.
Smaller towns. I mean, my personal observations, I notice babies cry louder. People drive faster. They blare their music louder. There's such an extreme in behavior. They have less of that self-awareness or something. And you get into the smaller towns and the people are a little more like babies don't cry as loud. It's just I know I'm in a big city. Yeah, there's more consideration between each other, just with personal space and the noise, respecting each other.
Kimono Yama. The cop wants to go, but Travis is detaining him by talking his frickin' ear off.
There's the noise and all that. It's really something, and it's nice for me. I'd like to be more on the outside, but I like looking sometimes. Like I bicycled into the city center. I like to see the difference. We got this trail here. They're fixing. They have nice new pavement for the bicycle trail that goes into the city. But you look at the ghetto. I went through the ghetto leaving. I came in on that nice bicycle trail, but leaving the ghetto the sidewalks are crumbly. Yeah, they built up the bicycle trails nice, but the ghetto.
That's a new 10 memberships. Hit up Roy. He's giving away memberships. That's 10 more. That's 20 so far.
who you were talking about that was driving around?
The red car has been practicing for a while. Yeah, so.
Looks like a driving school or something.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, yesterday, like some guy he was running his little RC car in this parking lot. That gave me a clue that it's probably quiet. And then people choose this to practice driving. So.
Yeah, it's nice wide open lot.
Yeah.
Decent uses for it.
And on the outside of the city, I mean, that's why I didn't go to a park. I didn't really bother to look for a park. I just figured this will be my park for the day. I mean, and the library will be walking distance at 1. So I figure what the heck, I'll just, I'm trying to relax, keep my stress levels down as best I can. I get a little wound up sometimes. So, it's nice to just be able to get away from too much stimulation. So
well, you got a nice quiet spot over here.
Yeah. Just gotta.
I'm the only one that bothers you today.
If I needed assistance, I know who to call and all that. But I'm not asking for any help right now. You're just.
What does he need assistance
just making
with?
your rounds, pretty much. So.
All right. Well, I'll leave you to it. All right, man.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yep. Have a good one. Yep.
Travis Hines to me is a national treasure. This guy is he, so from what I understand, Travis lives in his car or he travels the country.
In a small town.
Yeah. Okay.
They're concerned you walk around with some big sticks.
Yeah, I got these. They're my exercise sticks. Just flipping them around, I guess, a little too much. That's the problem. That was a scary thing to people. All right.
I guess so.
Okay. Well, I mean no harm. I mean, they didn't say I was threatening them. They just saw I was minding my own business, doing my exercises. Okay. Yeah.
I just got to come check you out. Just make sure you
okay.
Why does he have to come check him out? I thought we were free unless there's probable cause supported by oath or affirmation.
Yeah, I mean, you see, these are the sticks. So, yeah, and I'm pretty much done. I got here early in the morning, and I was just I was kind of swatting at mosquitoes a little bit.
It's so funny. He talks about swatting at mosquitoes a little bit. He's totally effing with this pig, and the pigs just don't understand that he's effing with them, wasting their time.
They are. Yeah, it's so yeah, I mean,
and that's Louisiana. Remember, Louisiana's easily in the top 10 of police states.
That's all I was doing, out kind of back in there, taking the trail a little bit. I mean, I was trying to find this best isolated spot. I'm kind of out of town. I looked on the Google Maps, was trying to find the most isolated spot I could just for a little exercise.
So they have 2 cop cars there for him? For what? He's done nothing wrong. Someone called and said there's a car in a parking lot. Who cares? Why are you sending out the pigs like this? I just don't get it. They don't investigate crime. They investigate regular people who are doing nothing wrong.
This is the best I could find. I don't know. Maybe there's better places, but yeah.
Just passing through, or?
Well, I was going to go to the library today, and then I am kind of passing through, but I want to relax a little bit too. I'm going kind of to Lake St. Charles. Just want to check
that at?
What?
Where's Lake St. Charles?
Is it called something else?
Lake Charles?
Lake Charles.
Oh, you headed to Lake Charles?
Yeah. Let me just. All right. Just headed. And I want to check out the coastline. Yeah, I'm a bit of a traveler, and I stop at places just to relax, exercise, and I prefer kind of the smaller towns, but there's the people, the regulars who come here and they see patterns of how they just see how it's usually not strangers don't show up, and these are the types of parks I kind of like, but
I don't mean to bother you. Just we gotta do our job.
Yeah, I'm just talking. I don't know. You just okay. And yeah, you may have been, there's a very active cop on this road over down that way. I saw lights going off every so often. It's pretty active over there. So, yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, you can let them know that, you know, I'll be, yeah, I'm good. Okay. Or whatever. Okay.
Remember, those cops are demons and they want to kill him. Those cops want to arrest him. Put a 1 in the chat if they want to arrest him. Put a 1 in the chat if it's their goal to pull up there to find a reason to arrest him. Jackboot thug pig. Pig.
Yeah.
I saw this last night.
I'm doing well.
What's your name, sir?
Who are you?
I'm sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
I'm Sergeant Barry Ansels, Fort Wayne Police Department. How are you?
Good.
What's your name?
I didn't give it.
I know. I want to know what your name is.
I don't care what you want.
Well,
that's not the policy.
The Secret Service.
I don't care.
Us to identify
then
who you are.
why don't they come out here and talk to me?
They will in a moment.
Okay, go ahead. Am I being
What's your
detained?
What's your name?
Am I being detained?
What is your name?
Am I being?
Look how that loser is dressed up. Take a look at G.I. Joe loser. We don't need this. We don't want this. Take a look at that loser. You're not in Iraq, bro. You're not in Afghanistan. You're not in Ukraine, and you're not in Gaza. You don't need to dress up like a frickin' G.I. Joe loser in what's supposed to be land of the free and home of the brave.
Being detained.
What is your
I'm going
name?
to assume no.
What's that?
I'm going to say, hey, don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. Public servant,
What?
don't touch.
What?
Look, public
What's your name?
servant, you don't touch me.
All right.
You don't touch me.
Or else what?
You don't touch me.
Or else what?
I will file a complaint.
You can file a complaint.
Don't
but I'm
touch
going
me.
To identify you.
You're being live streamed. Nope.
Okay, so listen, there's some mistakes going on right here, okay? You plant your feet. You plant your feet on the ground. And he made a lot of mistakes here. He made a ton of mistakes here. You don't start running or you become chased. Did you see this? You see how shaky the camera is because all this nonsense going
You
on?
don't touch me.
All right.
You don't touch me.
Or else what?
You don't touch me.
Or else what?
I will file a complaint.
You can file a complaint.
Don't
but I'm
touch
going
me.
To identify you.
You're being live streamed. Nope.
I'm going to identify you, he says. So right here, when this pig walks up,
What's your name, sir?
here's
you?
where it starts.
I'm sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
I'm Sergeant Barry.
No. Listen, you have to take control. The way you take control is by invoking your rights. You don't take control by having a chest bumping contest with a pig. You take control of the pig. You saw a second ago, they were kind of going like this, right? Like coming forward, back, don't touch me, right? You take control of the pig by invoking your rights.
Sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
Right there. What did the cop say? How you doing? How you doing? Hello is for suckers. We don't say, how you doing? Good to see ya. He's trying to arrest him. That's what he's doing. How you doing? That's what he's doing. He's trying to arrest this man. How you doing? Gets met with nothing.
I'm doing well.
Fail. They're not your friend.
What's your name, sir?
What's my name? I invoke my First Amendment right to be the press.
Who are you?
I'm sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
No.
I'm Sergeant Barry Ansels, Fort Wayne Police Department.
He just lost control. He lost control. You save that. What's your name and badge number for when you have to take back the control? I invoke my First Amendment right to be the press.
Doing well. What's your name, sir?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I identify as good citizen. What's your name, sir? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I identify as good citizen. It's the first 2 steps on your non-driver cop card. If you're an activist or an auditor or you're going to film cops, you got to have it in your pocket. You got to have it in your pocket because what it does is makes it so you have a guide and that you show the camera exactly what the guide is. This goes around his qualified immunity and around the clearly established prong. You have to say those words. I invoke my First Amendment right. He says, what's your name? I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. I identify as good citizen. The law is in the blue, officer. Do you want to hold the card? Do you need to hold the card to read it? Because I'm getting everything I'm saying on film. Then you take control of the stop. You save that what's your name and badge number for when things are getting dicey and you got to take control again.
Who are you?
Sorry?
That's not the way this goes. Who are you?
Don't do that. You're powerful if you invoke your rights. If you invoke your rights, you got him in a federal civil rights lawsuit. If you don't invoke your rights, it's going to be a chest bumping contest.
I'm Sergeant Barry Ansels, Fort Wayne Police Department. How are you? Good.
He answered the question. I invoked my Fifth Amendment right. Stop asking me questions, pig.
What's your name?
I invoked my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Don't ask me another question without my attorney present or you violate your oath to the Constitution.
Give it. I know.
Did you see the difference? I mean, you can hear the difference, right? Between the way I'm saying it and what he's saying. I've taken control because I've invoked my rights. I've invoked my First Amendment right to film you. I've invoked my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. I showed you my rights on a card. Do you see? I identify as good citizen. But just so you know, Rollo Mota put in here, I'm good citizen, name, law-abiding citizen. So just so you know, the reason why I say on number 2 here, where I say I invoke my Fifth Amendment right there, okay? The reason why it says that right there is because you have to say those exact words. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. You have to actually say it. You have to actually say. Number 4 right there, cop demands ID. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. So the reason why you say you identify as good citizen is because of the law that the Supreme Court created in Hibble versus Nevada, 2004. Hibble versus Nevada right there in the navy blue, it says, with reasonable articulable suspicion, citizen must state how they ID, do not give ID. So in stop and ID states, if this pig had reasonable articulable suspicion and you just pled the Fifth Amendment, he could arrest you. You have to state the words, I identify as good citizen, because of the 2004 case of Hibble versus Nevada. That's why instead of saying, oh, for stop and ID states, you have to say, I didn't put that on the card. I just put on the card, number 4, cop demands ID, wants to know your identification. I plead the Fifth, I identify as good citizen. Now, what you didn't know is that I know the law. I know that Hibble versus Nevada makes you tell the pigs how you identify. So you have to say the words, I identify as good citizen. You can call me good citizen. I plead the Fifth, you can call me good citizen. I've stated how I ID. If you walk up and it's a stop and ID state, like I think South Carolina, if you go to, and it's a stop and ID state, then what happens is the cop can say, I had reasonable articulable suspicion because the liquor store had an alarm going off. I walked up to him and said, hey, I need to see some ID. And he did not identify. You see? You have to say, you say all the words in the yellow on your Fifth Amendment cop card. The card's only $10. It's you've got to say the first one, I invoke 1A. You got to say number 2. I'm only looking at the yellow stripes here. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. Number 3, cop asks you to exit the vehicle. If he's not standing in the vehicle, you exit and you say, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I do not consent to searches or seizures, which is invoking your Fourth Amendment right. The cop says he demands ID. You say, I plead the Fifth and I identify as good citizen. That goes around that Hibble versus Nevada garbage. That goes around the Hibble versus a little more, almost 600, because I have Facebook and I have Twitter going at the same time. So there's almost 600 people here right now. I hope I'm teaching 600 people how to go down your Fifth Amendment cop card and do it right. You have to say, I identify as a good citizen in a stop and ID state. I don't think Minnesota is. I'm not sure where he is right now. He was in Minnesota last time.
Oh, I want to know what your name is. I don't care what you want. Well, that's not the policy. The Secret Service. I don't care. Then why don't they come out here and talk to me? They will in a moment. Okay, go ahead. Am I being detained?
That'll work, Jack Boot Thug Pig. You have to tell them how you identify. Jack Boot Thug Pig said, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as Meat Popsicle.
What's your name? Am I being detained? What is your name? Am I being detained?
He asked the question 3 times. Listen, how many times he asked the same question?
I don't care. Then why don't they come out?
I identify as good citizen.
Out here and talk to me. They will in a moment. Okay, go ahead. Am I being detained?
What's your name? He said.
What's your name? Am I being
What's your name? He said.
Detained. What is your name?
3 questions in a row. 3 questions in a row. And why were there 3 questions in a row? He didn't have tutoring. He didn't have a coach. He didn't have anybody to tell him. You have to say the words, I plead the Fifth Amendment. The 2013 case of Salinas versus Texas, the black robe tyrants said that you have a privilege of the Fifth Amendment. You have to state it aloud to invoke it. You have to say, I plead the Fifth Amendment. I don't answer questions is not invoking the Fifth Amendment. It's right there on your Fifth Amendment cop card. It's in 4 places. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. You have to say the words. If you don't say the words, this cop gets qualified immunity that so many of you talk about.
Being detained. What is I'm going to say no. What's that? I'm going to say, hey, don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. Public servant, don't touch me. Look, public servant, you don't touch me. You don't touch me. Or else what? You don't touch me. Or else what? I will file a complaint. You can file a complaint. Don't touch me. Identify you. You're being live.
He's backing up. It's chaotic. He hasn't invoked his rights. He hasn't taken control of the stop. He's now in what could become physical.
Nope. All right, stop. No. Am I being detained? Yes, you are being detained. Am I being detained? Identify who you are. That's not the way this goes. Well, I don't care what you say. Okay.
No, that is not how it goes, Pig.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Okay, so what did I talk about in the beginning of this rendition of Delete Laws? What did I talk about? I talked about how we're not living under rule of law. We're living under a tyrannical system. And now we're all seeing it on camera that this is not rule of law. What the cop is saying is not the law. What the guy is saying is the law. The person who's supposed to be in charge of the law is lying or wrong or ignorant. This is not rule of law. This is a tyrannical jackboot thug pig police state. This is not the social contract. This is not your Bill of Rights. This is not a constitutional standard. So if we don't have a constitutional standard, then how do you know the rule of law doesn't work if we've never used it? Remember, they passed the Bill of Rights in 1793. What is the Bill of Rights based on? The Bill of Rights is based on that every man has the right to life, liberty, and property. That is then extrapolated using Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract. Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract will pretty much lay out our Bill of Rights. Our Bill of Rights is pretty much a plagiarism of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract and John Locke's natural law. You have the right to life, liberty, property, and self-defense. Those are the 4 principles of natural law. That's it. So he has to invoke them to get them. And this cop is not following the rule of law. The citizen is trying to. You don't have your rights if you don't say them out loud. Just remember what I'm telling you.
I'm not. No. Secret Service. Am I being detained?
Look how chaotic this is because he lost his cool and started screaming and said, "You will not touch me." It's just not how you do it.
Identify who you are. That's not the way this goes. Well, I don't care what you think. Okay.
No, it's not what he thinks. That's the rule of law.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I'm not. Sir, no. The Secret Service has. I don't care. To identify. I don't care what.
I don't give a shit what the Secret Service. So that's the whole thing. Who is the Secret Service? The Secret Service works for the president. So why does the president need to identify him? The Secret Service wants to identify him because the Secret Service, if they're suspicious of you, they keep tabs on you. They have you followed. They tap your phones. That's what the Secret Service does. The Secret Service gets your identification, gets your number, and they tap your cell phone. They have people follow you. That's what the Secret Service actually does. If they think there's any threat to the President of the United States, the Secret Service will follow you like they're a private investigator. Everything you buy will be cataloged. Everywhere you go will be inventoried. The Secret Service wants his ID. You don't want them to have your ID, bro. You don't want the Secret Service to know your identification, where you live, what you do. You don't want the Secret Service to know who you are.
They want.
Okay,
That's not the way this goes.
I understand that.
Show me the law.
Okay, I understand that.
Show me what
your
have
name?
I broken?
What is your
What
name?
law have I broken?
Okay, we have
What
to have a
law
security
have I
for the
broken?
arrival of the President of the
It
United
doesn't even close until 3 o'clock.
States. I understand that.
Or do you understand that?
What's your name?
Do you understand that?
What's your name?
What is
So do you hear what he just said right here?
show me what
your
have
name?
I broken?
What is your
What
name?
law have I broken?
Okay, we have
What
to have a
law
security
have
We have to have the area secured
I
for the
broken?
arrival of the President of the
It
United
for
doesn't
the arrival of the President of the United States. So there can't be a guy with a camera on the road. That's how ridiculously stupid Terry versus Ohio is. They use suspicion for a guy holding a camera.
even close until 3 o'clock.
I understand that.
Or do you understand that?
What's your name?
Do you understand that?
What's your name?
What is your badge number?
1647.
I'm going to file a complaint with Officer Reed
That's okay.
and your Internal Affairs Department.
That's okay.
You don't
your name?
touch me.
Okay, I did not touch you.
Yes, you did. I have it all live streamed between 3 cameras.
Okay.
Don't touch me. Not to mention the other ones
Okay.
that are watching you right now.
Okay.
Don't touch me.
Why
You
won't
have
you give
no
your name?
right.
Why won't you give your name?
I have no business to give you my name.
Okay, in a stop and ID state, though, he can be detained if he doesn't say that I identify as good citizen. That's why it's on your Fifth Amendment cop card.
Okay.
I haven't broke. What ordinance have I broken?
What's your name?
What ordinance have I broken?
What is your name, sir?
Have I committed a misdemeanor?
What is your name?
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
For under what probable cause?
Okay.
What is your RAS? Your reasonable, articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime.
You have your face covered.
It's
taking photos
cold
of-
outside.
This is at 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So just someone write that in the comment section for me, please. Hibble versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada. On your Fifth Amendment cop card, it says Hibble versus Nevada. But the actual holding is Hibble versus 6th Judicial District Court of Nevada in Humboldt County. And this was decided in 2004. And this is why it says what it says on your cop card. Larry Hibble was arrested and convicted in Nevada State Court for failing to identify himself to a pig who was investigating an assault. So there had been probable cause of a crime being committed, but it wasn't Larry Hibble, or maybe it was. Let's see. So Nevada and many other states has a law that requires a person to tell an officer his name if asked. Hibble challenged the conviction, claiming it violated his Fifth Amendment right not to self-incriminate himself and his Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. The state intermediate court and Supreme Court rejected his argument in affirming his conviction of not giving his identification, failing to identify himself to a pig. So here's the constitutional question. Did Larry Hibble's arrest and conviction for not telling pigs his name violate his Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate himself and his Fourth Amendment right to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures? And take a look, won't you? The conservatives, they screw us every time. Notice the liberals voted against a police state. They just want to take your gun rights. So they want to strip our Second Amendment. They want to give our rights to the pigs. And a 5-4 decision, Does Hibble's arrest and conviction for not telling police officers' name violate his Fifth Amendment right? No, it doesn't. They can arrest you for not identifying who you are. In a 5-4 opinion written by Anthony Kennedy, I don't call them this word. The court ruled that the search did not violate the Fourth Amendment because it's based on reasonable suspicion. So now let's go back to your Fifth Amendment cop card. Your Fifth Amendment cop card right here, it says cop demands ID, says he has reasonable articulable suspicion. I identify as good citizen. I plead the Fifth Amendment. This goes around the Hibble standard. so that you can't get arrested. And if you show it on camera and you say, I identify as good citizen, and you cite the case law, and he still wrongfully seizes your ID, you got his ass. You got him. But it has to be on camera. And you have to show him the law in the navy blue. Hibble versus Nevada says I have to state how I ID, not give ID without probable cause. That's why in the yellow I put for you. Now you understand the reason why this one says what it does. But let's finish the holding here. The police officer was investigating the assault and Hibble was nearby. So the reasonable suspicion is that a cop was investigating an assault and Larry was by there, and only involved minimally and involved only a minimally invasive question, his name. They stripped away our Fifth Amendment in Hibble. You don't have to give your name. It also did not violate his Fifth Amendment because Hibble never argued that telling officers his name would actually incriminate him of any crime. Do you read that? It did not violate his Fifth Amendment because Hibble never argued on the spot that telling the officer his name would actually incriminate him in a crime. Do you see? A lot of people will, all across the internet, people will make fun of me and say, oh, Chille's a constitutional law scholar. Did you learn something today? Did you actually learn the constitutionality of how Hibble strips away our Fifth Amendment? Why do I have to give my name? It's only a minimal invasive. It's very small. Just like you have to get out of the car for officer safety. It's what is it? The actual Latin term, de minimis something. It's de minimis. Anyway, holy shit. Thanks, Amazing. Holy shit. Get a membership from Amazing. Thank you, Amazing. Appreciate it. So, do you understand now that your Fifth Amendment is being eroded? And they're saying it's only a slight intrusion, de minimis intrusion into your life. What did they say in 1991 in SITZ versus Michigan State Police, SITZ versus Michigan State Police, that a DUI checkpoint was only a minimal intrusion? We could stop you. What did the appellate court say? No, it's a huge intrusion. The Supreme Court overturned the appellate court. Let's finish this reading. It does not violate the Fifth Amendment because Hibble never argued that it would actually incriminate him in a crime. Fraud Kennedy wrote, while we recognize petitioner's strong belief that he should not have to disclose his identity, the Fifth Amendment does not override Nevada state legislator judgment to the contrary, absent a reasonable belief that the disclosure would tend to incriminate him. Federal law supersedes state law. The Supreme Court says here, the Fifth Amendment does not override Nevada's legislator's judgment. Do you understand? Do you get it? It's a great big scam. It's a great big scam. It's only a minimal intrusive question. That is so ridiculously. SITZ versus Michigan State Police. Oral arguments in 1990. The decision came out in 1991. Facts of the case. In 1986, Michigan State Pigs created a sobriety checkpoint program aimed at reducing drunk driving within the state. The program included guidelines governing the location of roadblocks in America and the amount of publicity to be given to the operation. Before the first roadblock in America went into effect, Rick Sitz, a licensed Michigan driver, challenged the checkpoint and sought declaratory and injunctive relief. Sitz was victorious in the Michigan lower courts, so he won. The Michigan court said that, yeah, putting up a roadblock in America is unconstitutional. So then who changed that? The Supreme Court. And who did it? The conservatives. The conservatives screw us. They screw us. That's why I've never voted for a Republican, ever. I've never voted for a Republican. Do you know that? Not one time in my entire life have I ever put my name next to a Republican's, because Republicans are cop suckers. Now, the liberals want to strip away your gun rights. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. But these ones right here in SITZ versus Michigan State Police, Does drunk driving checkpoints violate motorist privacy protected by the Fourth Amendment or your right to travel, your First Amendment? Michigan lower court said it does. The constitutional conclusion, in a 6-3 vote, the court held that roadblocks do not violate the Fourth Amendment. In what world are we living in? What the fuck are you talking about? The court noted no one can seriously dispute the magnitude of the drunk driving problem in the states. Interest in eradicating it. The court then found that the weight on the other scale, the measure of the intrusion on the motorist stopped briefly, is slight. Does it sound familiar? Does it sound exactly like Hibble versus Nevada of 2004? But just so you know, I read the appellate court holding. The appellate court holding said it was a huge intrusion into your civil liberties to be stopped in a roadblock. Huge, gigantic, enormous. Gracias, Chevy. Do you see? You can see it, right? What did the black-robed unelected tyrants say? It's just a little intrusion into your rights, just a little bit, just a little bit. Is that true? Or is it a gigantic, huge intrusion when you have to stop at a DUI checkpoint? Thank you, Greg. Oh my Lord. Y'all want memberships? Amazing, Chevy, and Greg have them all. Hit those guys up and they'll give you a membership. It's a huge intrusion. Only a minimal intrusive question. You're just slow. Sitz was victorious in the Michigan State Court. You're being stopped and questioned against your Fourth Amendment, against your Fifth Amendment, is only a slight intrusion.
Yeah. 3 officers. I'm out here taking video and pictures. Where's the crime in that?
We're just following.
Where is the crime in that? Then tell them to either come out here, and I'll tell them the same thing I'm telling you.
On their way, sir.
I mean, take a look at this caricature. Just take a look at this caricature. Take a look. Look at the douchebag. Look at him with his aviator glasses and his G.I. Joe loser outfit with his pig mustache. He would have a mullet, but I don't think he's got the hair for it. So
then tell them to either come out here, and I'll tell them the same thing I'm telling you.
On their way, sir.
I love a mullet, by the way. I love a mullet.
For taking pictures.
That camera had 42 power zoom lens. You couldn't have got your pictures across the street.
I can get them from right here. It's the same public sidewalk.
You could get them from over there.
So I could get them from Google Earth, but I didn't. I got them from over there. That's not a crime. It's not a crime.
It certainly raises suspicion.
It doesn't matter if it raises suspicion. It's not a crime.
So, but does the cop have standing if he says he's suspicious? Yes, he does. That's the bullshit. Suspicion is bullshit. Put it in the chat. Suspicion is bullshit.
It's not a crime.
It certainly raises suspicion.
It raises suspicion about what? That you're standing on the road filming?
Doesn't matter if it raises suspicion. It's not a crime.
It certainly does.
No, it doesn't.
It does matter because the Supreme Court, unelected black robe tyrants, gave away our rights to the pigs.
Not a crime. It's not. It's suspicious activity. Is that a misdemeanor or a felony, sir?
It's Terry versus Ohio. Let me explain it to you guys. The election's coming up. Let me clue you in. Conservatives fuck us. Do you understand that? Ronald Reagan fucked our gun rights. Donald Trump fucked our gun rights. Do you understand? Do you get it? Richard Nixon fucked our country for centuries. The war on drugs was created by Dick Nixon. We're living in Richard Nixon's America. This isn't Trump's America. This isn't Biden's America. This is Richard Nixon's America. Conservatives, screw us. Do you get it? I've never voted for a Republican. I probably never will. Ever. They gave this pig. Then you go to the Supreme Court. You get to the Supreme Court. Who strips away our gun rights? 1939, Miller versus United States, upheld the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre. That did what? upheld the Federal National Firearms Act. Who did that? Conservatives. They took your gun rights. Ronald Reagan, the Brady Bill, took your gun rights. Republican conservatives screw us. Do you understand that? They screw us. Every time. Every time. You want to live in a police state? Stop voting for Republicans. I'm not voting for Democrats either. I'm voting independent.
Suspicious activity.
Misdemeanor or felony.
It's neither.
That's right. It's neither. So I haven't committed a crime.
It's Terry versus Ohio. They have a right to walk up to you and say they're suspicious of you and detain you, put you in torture cuffs, and put their hands all over your body.
No, but that doesn't mean we can't talk to you.
Yeah, well, you can't detain me. That's the thing.
They can talk to you if you don't invoke your Fifth Amendment right for the... You have to say... This is Salinas versus Texas, 2013. You literally have to say the words. You have to say them out loud. Facts of the case, blah, 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 blah. Who did it? Conservatives. Conservative Supreme Court screwed us 5-4. Samuel Alito, cop sucker, huge cop sucker. Long-standing judicial precedent has held any witnesses who desires self-protection against self-incrimination must explicitly claim the protection. I invoke my Fifth Amendment right. That a criminal defendant does not need to take the stand at trial to invoke their privilege, to explicitly claim their privilege. You can be on the street. That failure to claim the Fifth Amendment out loud must be excused when that failure was due to government coercion. Kennedy concluded the Fifth Amendment's privilege against self-incrimination does not extend to defendants who simply remain mute during questioning or if they say, I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions is not invoking your privilege. You understand? Fifth Amendment trifold, Fifth Amendment cop card, Fifth Amendment non-driver cop card. Is there a theme here? Are you seeing a theme? I'm just, it's, you know, I have all these cards and I got to get them out into your wallets. It is just so frustrating to see and hear what these pigs do to people.
Yeah. 3 officers. I'm out here taking video and pictures. Where's the crime in that?
We're just following.
Where is the crime in that? Then tell them to either come out here and I'll tell them the same thing I'm telling you.
They're on their way, sir.
For taking pictures.
That camera has 42 power zoom lens. You couldn't have got your pictures across the street.
I can get them from right here. It's the same public sidewalk.
You could get them from over there.
So I could get them from Google Earth, but I didn't. I got them from over there. That's not a crime. It's not a crime.
It certainly raises suspicion.
It doesn't matter if it raises suspicion. It's not a crime.
It certainly does.
No, it doesn't. It's not a crime. It's not. It's suspicious activity. Is that a misdemeanor or felony, sir?
Suspicious activity.
Misdemeanor or felony.
It's neither.
That's right. It's neither. So I haven't committed a crime.
No, but that's.
What the hell is all this word salad? What is he going back and forth with the cop for? He's not a known auditor. He's not a known activist. He's not a new activist. He's filming from the streets. Your job is to invoke your privilege. This card is only a way to go around their qualified immunity, go around the clearly established prong. This card is only so you have a yellow guide. You can follow what's in the yellow. You just say what's in the yellow. If the cop walks up to you and you got your camera rolling, you can just go 1 through 6. Just say it out loud. I invoke 1A right away. I invoke my First Amendment right away. The second yellow, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. The third one, exit the car. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I do not consent to searches or seizures. I'm just going to read them all. Number 4, cop says he wants his ID. I plead the Fifth Amendment. I identify as good citizen. Number 5, you tell the cop off. While filming, I say my right to free speech is protected by the First Amendment. Number 6, cop says, let me talk. While filming, my right to free speech is protected by the First Amendment. Houston versus Hills in the blue. Just rattle it all off, and then it's on camera. It goes around his clearly established prong. It goes around his qualified immunity. Just rattle off the yellow. Just say it out loud. Say all the parts all at one time. It'll take you less than 30 seconds to read every word in the yellow. Less than 30 seconds. And then you're covered. First, fourth, fifth, should be 14th. You should get equal protection under the law as well when the pigs are in front of you.
I mean, we can't talk to you.
Yeah, well, you can't detain me. That's the thing.
What's the Secret Service advisor?
You don't detain citizens. You don't touch them. You don't touch them.
What's that?
You don't touch citizens.
I couldn't hear you.
Don't get any closer to me.
Or else what?
You're invading my personal space.
Or else what?
What do you think is going to happen?
You tell me.
You tell me. You're the one who wants to lean in like you want to kiss me.
What a bully. Dressed up like G.I. Joe loser with his gun, stick, and taser, and trying to bully the guy.
Entrance number 4.
And the only thing I can do is go backward into traffic. So
Okay,
if you're trying, what do you think I was trying to do? Tell you I had to be Johnny on the spot and move over here.
You're trying to leave?
Until you try to be Johnny on the spot and prevent me from coming away from the street. You're not.
Please call him G.I. Joe loser, if you would, please.
Serving and protecting. Did you take an oath?
Go out to,
did you take an oath to protect
entrances where
the United States citizens? Did you take an oath? Sir, I'm talking to you. Did you take an oath?
Just a second.
Did you take? I don't care what you're doing. Did you take an oath? I'm talking to you, public servant. I'm talking to you, public servant. Did you take an oath? Did you take an oath?
I did.
To uphold the Constitution.
I did.
This is a First Amendment protected activity. So why don't you get back in your car and get back to your job? This is not your job.
Just a second.
Don't do that to me. You keep leaning in like you can't hear. So I'm speaking up for you.
Wow, what a disrespectful pig, dude.
You. So I have two. I have two.
Okay.
So what?
I'm not hearing you over this loud, guys. So
you have to leave him alone and walk away from him. How about that?
Yeah, just come to entrance 4 off of Parnell. Secret Service.
I don't want to get pushed in the street.
Nivens versus Bartlett, 2019. If you are actively engaged in a First Amendment protected activity, or if you're actively engaged in a police protest, stepping in the street and arresting you for jaywalking is a retaliatory act, and the cop can be held liable. It goes around his qualified immunity.
Do you feel better here?
I'm not going to be pushed in the street by you.
Do you feel better here?
Are you not going to lean in and try to kiss me?
Do you feel better here?
Are you going to not lean in and try to kiss me? Because that'll make me feel better.
I couldn't hear you. Secret Service is coming. Just relax.
Who's this jackboot? Who are you, sir?
That's rude.
Well, you're illegally detaining me.
Rude.
I have a right.
Did you just hear what he said?
Who are you, sir? Who's this jackboot?
There it is right there. Put it in the comments section. Jackboot Thug Pig. JBTP. He knows. This guy knows that they're jackboot thug pigs. He knows it. He just called him a jackboot. Called him sir on top of it. I mean, I guess it's kind of sweet to say, man, you are a jackboot thug pig, sir. He called him a jackboot. We heard it. We all heard him call it.
Who are you? Who's this jackboot? Who are you, sir?
That's rude.
Well, you're illegally detaining me. I have a right to say.
I don't care. What's your name, sir? Rude and uncalled for.
What's your name, sir?
His name is Officer Fry. His name is.
So throughout the history of our country, there's been 115 Supreme Court justices. 115. That would mean that there's 104 associate justices, and there's going to be 14 chief justices. There's going to be, you can count that.
It's Detective Tagmeyer.
What's your badge number, sir?
You don't need to know that.
It's in your policy. It's in your policy. He's still here on scene. He's still here on scene. It doesn't matter. He's still on scene.
I'm the primary officer and I'm the supervisor.
What's your badge number? So when I file a complaint, he was witness to you battering me.
Battering?
Yes, you touched me.
Rude,
you
touched
touched
me. Angry
me.
manner.
You touched me.
You feel pain?
You touched me. Emotionally, maybe. Because you cannot touch a citizen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. He's wrong. He's so wrong. That's incorrect. When can a cop touch you? When can a cop grab you? I'll wait for the answer. When can a cop run up to you and put his hands on you? First person who gets it, I'll give a free set of cop cars. I'll give a free set of cop cards to the first person who gets it. When can the cops run up to you and grab you? When can that happen? Anytime. I'm sorry. I think that Chris got there. When he sees you, that was the first one. Milena got it. Terry, stop. Anytime. Always disability has it. Anytime. Chris has it here. He can for officer safety. There it is right there. That's the first answer. Do I see another one? That's the first one. Greg, free set of Fifth Amendment cop cards for you, bro. I'll send them out. I know you already have a pair, so just give them away. If you want me to give them to someone who's already in the audience, just let me know, Greg. Because Greg's a friend. I've sent him a couple pair of cop cards. Cops can run it. I just want to answer the question. The moment a cop sees you, he can run up and grab you. Cop can pull up into a parking lot that you're in. You're sitting in the parking lot eating a burger, right? Literally sitting on a chair eating a burger. Cop can see you in the parking lot, go running over to you, jump out of his car and grab you and put you in handcuffs. No words have to be said. He has to tell you why he's doing it. Nothing. He can just run up to you and grab you, throw you on the ground, stick his knees in your back and in your neck, put you in torture cuffs, and then stick you in the back of his car with no probable cause, nothing. That's a Terry stop. That's Terry versus Ohio. When can a cop grab you? The moment he sees you. When can a cop grab you? As soon as he can get his hands on you. When can a cop grab you? Anytime he wants. Anytime he chooses. Now, is that constitutional? No, it's not. You're supposed to be secure in your person, houses, papers, and effects. Are you secure in your person if a cop can run up and grab you anytime he wants? No, you're not. You absolutely are not. We are not free. All I have to do is call and say, this guy over here is bad. And they'll go and kick his door down and put him in torture cuffs, maybe kill him. All I got to do is say you're bad. He's bad. The guy shipping your trifolds, he's a bad guy. The guy shipping the cop cards, he's evil. I'm going to call 911 and say, the guy shipping out the cop cards is really, he's got a super nuclear bomb in the bag. That's all I have to say. I think that there's alcohol in his water bottle. That's all I have to say. Cops can run up and grab you. We're seeing it all over the country, right? Cops are going to people. How many people are we seeing? Oh, we got a phone call. You got a phone call. So what does that mean? That means we get to Terry stop you. What does a Terry stop include? Grabbing you, throwing you on the ground, putting you in torture cuffs, throwing you in the back of the pig carriage.
You can't. You can't. If I... You touch me.
You feel pain?
You touch me. Emotionally, maybe. Because you cannot touch a citizen. You can't. You can't. If I touched you that way, even with a finger, even if it just touched your clothes, I'm going to jail.
You already...
That's right.
You did that.
I did not.
You going to jail?
I did not.
You touched me?
No. It's all on camera. I did not.
As soon as the Secret Service clears you and then clears that you're no threat to the President of the United States.
He's not even there, dude. You're a moron.
Then you can...
I'm trying to be out of here before 3 o'clock, before the road closes, so I can get my car out of here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need two Melvins. Take one down. Take down the Chief Justices.
Do you want me to stay all night?
No.
Do you want me to get video all night?
Oh, heavens no.
Then let me go for your instructions.
Just a second.
What crime have I committed?
Okay.
What crime have I committed? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You're being detained until the Secret Service clears you.
What reasonable, articulable suspicion do you have? You can't do that. You have to have reasonable, articulable suspicion. What crime have I committed?
That's what I'm talking about, people. That's what I'm talking about. This is not rule of law. That's not the rule of law. The rule of law is you can't do anything to me unless there's probable cause. This is not the Fourth Amendment standard. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It really is just outright ridiculous. He's saying that he's not going to follow the rule of law.
That's what we're going to do.
What crime have I committed?
That's what we're going to
What crime have I committed?
It's a broken record. It's going over and over.
No, well, because I need to know.
Okay.
You can't articulate a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just get the chief out here? He'll clear it up.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he has tasked us to deal with this.
Well, you go ask him to come here.
No, he's busy right
So I'll identify to the chief.
now. Okay.
I'll identify to the chief. You get the chief out here. I'll talk to him.
Sure does, Stomper, doesn't it? It sure does, especially when you just turned around. Stomper got it. Stomper, you get 5 points.
You get the chief out here. I'll talk to him. What's your name, sir?
My name is Officer Adam Hartman, 1896 Fort Wayne Police Department.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's not Secret Service.
You're being professional, unlike these guys who have illegally detained me. And this guy decided he wanted to put his hands on me. Can you do something about that?
Well, he's a sergeant.
It doesn't matter. Can you please arrest this man?
I'm not.
Well, I am going to file a complaint, but that is not it. Can you arrest this man for illegally touching me?
No.
I haven't witnessed any crime.
I'll show you.
No, it's Terry.
I'll show you the crime. It's being live streamed as we speak. You don't touch citizens, sir, who've done nothing wrong. You don't touch them. Do you hear me? Do you understand?
No, that's not his training, bro.
I didn't do anything wrong.
He's been trained.
Okay. I just got advised.
No shit.
Listen, there's no need to swear.
Yeah, yes, there is.
Go fuck yourself. I'll swear anytime I want.
Because you can't illegally detain me. You are illegally detaining me. You are, yeah. Well, you said you can't hear. You said you can't.
Oh no. He's now saying he's going to charge him with this or with that for using foul language. Right there. Number 5, you tell the cop off. You use vulgar language. Cop says he's going to charge you with this or that, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace. While filming, you state, my right to free speech is protected by the First Amendment. First Amendment's upheld by the 1971 case of Cohen versus California. Cop loses qualified immunity for arresting you for free speech. Number 5, it's right there. You just heard it. You just saw it. You just heard it and you just saw it. Let's listen to it again.
I just got advised.
No shit.
Listen, there's no need to.
He said no shit, and so then the cop figures, well, there's no rights in my face, so there's no clearly established prong.
Swear.
Yeah, yes, there is, because you can't.
There's no need to swear, dude. You have no idea what I'd be saying to you.
Illegally detain me.
Now you're beginning to engage in something because you said the word shit. That's what he's saying. How do you dispel that? You don't. If you don't have a way to dispel it, you're going to sit and argue back and forth.
You are illegally detaining me. You are, yeah, well, you said you can't hear. You said you can't hear. I'm obliging you. Can you hear now?
I can hear now. Listen, these are your options. Okay? Okay.
I'm not wanting to hear. Am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Are you going to allow me to speak?
Am I being detained?
Are you going to allow me to speak? I had no. Number 6, let me talk. Don't interrupt me. See where it says number 6 right there on your cop card? I mean, you guys are seeing it. You see how I designed the card? Do you see the thought process I put into the card? What these pigs do, I gave you a way out. I gave you a way to get rid of them. Number 6, are you going to let me talk? Don't interrupt me. While filming, state, my right to free speech is protected by the First Amendment. First Amendment, 1987, Houston versus Hill. It's your right to interrupt police. It says it right there. Now, if you showed this to the camera and then you show it to the copper, now you can sue him. You can sue him. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you sue him? I'm just wondering, why wouldn't you sue him?
Once you answer my question.
Yes, I'm going to give you what your options are.
I don't care what my options
He still wants to be in control. He's such a beta male cuck.
are. I have a right to leave. Am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained or am I free to go? I heard the same thing you did. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
You're being detained.
Under what suspicion of crime? I don't need to hear your lip. Am I being detained or am I free to go? That's the only thing that matters.
Has been secured and rented by.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
If you
am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained? Am I being detained or am I free to go? Am I being detained?
He can't tell you to cross the street. That's bullshit. Plant your feet and don't move them.
Or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Do you understand?
Am I being detained or am I free to go, sir?
Your refusal to leave.
Am I being detained or am I?
Then be arrested. Don't back down. Plant your feet. Tell him to go pound sand.
I free to go. Do you need me to go ahead and sign language?
There's no criminal.
Am I being detained or am I?
There is no criminal trespass on a public sidewalk. He's done nothing wrong. I don't care what president is coming there. This is the entire point of the rule of law, that kings and princes and monarchs couldn't just walk over you. There was a rule of law that we all have to adhere to. This particular stream has been perfect. I opened up this stream showing you the importance of the rule of law and the role that government plays and the role that government did not play going back to 40 BC with the Roman Empire. I showed you that we've never had documents like we have today. Never had a constitutional republic. We never had a Bill of Rights. We never had free speech ever. If you told the king or the prince or the monarch to go F himself, you got killed. That's all different now. This pig can't walk up to you in a free land of America on a public sidewalk and say, you have to cross the street. You plant your feet. And earlier he was running away. Don't run away. Plant your feet. Let the camera catch that he's running into your camera and then just be like, yo, you're slamming into me, bro. Narrate what's happening. Why are you walking into me? Why are you running into me? Why are you telling me I can't be on a public sidewalk? Why are you telling me to cross the street? You narrate what's happening to you. You narrate it.
I'm free to go.
Do you know how to sign?
Do you want me to say it in Spanish or French? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
He never invoked his fifth, so he's continuing to be questioned.
Which one?
You see what a dick this pig is? You guys see what an asshole this pig is? If this guy, we're 10, 15 minutes in now. We're how many questions in? 30? If this pig was told up front, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. It's on this card. I'm showing the camera. I'm showing the copper. Don't violate my rights or it goes around your qualified immunity. He could sue him for this interaction right here. He could sue that pig, get him demoted. He's not going to get fired, but you could get him demoted.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Okay. He's doing everything he can to try to seem like he's the superior man. Now he's speaking Spanish. Oh, I speak 2 languages.
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Yes, he can be on the sidewalk.
Am I being detained?
If you understand
am I free to go? Am I being detained?
You are free to go.
Your freedom is not based on a stipulation that a pig is trying to force upon you.
Being detained or am I free to go? Okay. Am I being detained or am I free to go? You have to release me. You have to release me from detainment. You have to release me from detainment. It's not up for me to make a decision whether or not I understand something. It's up to you to release me from my detainment. Am I being detained or am I free to go?
Okay, now right there, your freedom is not contingent on whether or not you stipulate to an unlawful demand by a pig. Your freedom is not dependent on that.
Thank you, sir. I don't care to hear your lip. Okay. I'm not on the sidewalk. How's that?
Okay. Have a good day.
No, you have a terrible day because I'm going to file a complaint with your department.
But he's going to complain to who? To the same pigs that he works with.
Wouldn't be the first.
There it is. Wouldn't be the first. I'm sure of that, Piggy.
I already know that. I already know that. I already know that.
What did he just say?
Wouldn't be the first.
I already know that. I already know that.
He's telling me he has to go to the other side. Tell him to eat a dick.
I already know that. I've heard your name before. I can't cross here.
I'm saying,
Are you?
Yes, he can cross there. Nivens versus Bartlett, 2019. If you're arrested for jaywalking in the middle of a police protest, it's retaliatory, and the cops lose their qualified immunity.
Going to escort me across? Or are you going to escort me across?
I'll escort you across.
Oh, let's go down here.
Well, how far down do you want to go?
As far as I need to go, away from this guy
We'll go right
who's
here,
trying.
and I'll escort you across.
No, I'll determine where I cross
If
at.
you have a ticket, though, you're still welcome to go in on the other side. Do you still have a ticket? Or do you have a ticket?
I'm not answering any questions.
Okay.
I plead the Fifth Amendment for the love of Jesus, for the love of Muhammad, for the love of Buddha, for the love of Krishna, for the love of Monkey, for the love of Horus, for the love of Set, for the love of Yahweh. You plead the Fifth Amendment for the love of God.
I'm just trying to.
Even though
know
you've been professional.
We're not refusing you.
He has not been. Stop this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop with this cop's the good one and this one's going to be my friend. No, he's not. They're all against you. They joined a giant evil dark ship. They're evil. They are evil. Put a one in the chat if this pig right here would cuff him and kill him. Put a one in the chat if this cop would so easily put him in torture cuffs, drag him to a dungeon, and even kill him. This cop would easily do that. He's not on your side. He's the demon. You got it right. They hate us. Remember all the elitists in 2020? Go get your mandatory medication. Hurry. Go get it. We need to go back to our A-list life, you peons. Hurry up. Go get your mandatory medication. Did that mandatory medication work?
Enter the building if you have the ticket.
The Secret Service it has not done that. Why are you following me so close?
I'm going with Detective Tagmeyer.
I mean, you're being watched. They're telling me that you're following me real close. Did you have your hand on your gun?
Huh?
Did you have your hand on your gun?
I stand like this.
Okay, because this camera's watching you.
That's fine. All right. Perfectly fine. They can watch.
What are you calling me?
I don't know, John.
Okay.
Let me know what your last name.
I'm not answering your questions, but I mean, is that a derogatory? Are you calling me something derogatory?
By addressing you as John. Please, I want to
Is that like John Doe?
I want to help you across the street.
Are you sure?
What an absolute and total scam. What an absolute and total scam. I mean, really. I mean, really. So, all right, last video for today. We got one more video here, okay? It's frustrating for me. You guys hear me rattle off all these things that I've learned over my lifetime. I know these things like I know them, like I know them, like I know them. And so to hear someone say, I don't ask your questions, but not invoke his Fifth Amendment right, to see someone dancing around with their feet instead of planting their feet and saying, F you, I'm not moving. To see him answer questions, how you doing? Doing good. Why would you want to talk to a pig? You get the Fifth Amendment cop cards on deletelaws.com. Go to deletelaws.com. They're pretty cheap. $10 is pretty cheap. I tried to lower them down lower, and my business mentor said, no, you're not. You have to make a living. You have to make money. Don't be stupid. I had them down to $7, but my business mentor was like, if they can afford 7, they can afford 10, Chille. And I was like, all right, man. All right. Because I want to just get them in your wallet as quickly as I can. You know, I want you to have the card in your pocket. That's what I want. And I want to see your video when the cop comes up to you and you say, I identify as a good citizen. I don't have to give you ID without probable cause. So today, and this will be the last video. We'll be out of here before 5 p.m. Hopefully. We should be. Today, we dropped I believe it's the 20. Let me see. It is the 23rd episode of American Patriot. This is the 23rd episode of American Patriot. I will drop down the link here. This was my adventure in Ironton, Ohio, where I got the pigs off of the backs of 2 people. 4 cops are gone. 5 cops are gone now. Hanshaw's now gone. I announced 2-3 weeks ago that he was feeling up the girls in the high school. Less than a week later, he was fired. So this is the it's not laminated, Rob. It's an actual card, just like your wallet, just like your credit card. I can't pull my credit cards out, obviously. I have mine in here. Just like your wallet, just like your credit card, just like your ID, that's what this is. And you get 2 of them, by the way, for $10. You get the driver card and the non-driver card. There's 2 different cards. You get them both. And you only pull out, see where it says driver, non-driver at the top right there? And the next batch, I'm going to change one to pink. You pull out, you leave these black and yellow cards. It'll be black and pink next time. You leave them in your wallet until a pig is in front of you. And then you determine, are you a driver or a non-driver? Okay. So let's watch episode 23 of American Patriot of like 80 episodes. And so we're only, Liberty Blair is here. What's going on, Liberty? Glad you're here. Wyatt, what's going on? How are you? Derek Morris, what is going on? Can you guys do me a favor? Just put OTVO, overturn Terry versus Ohio. Put it in the chat real quick so I can just call off some names of people who are in here. Chevy, amazing. Thank you guys. Greg, thank you. Appreciate you guys. Dan, how you doing? Soy Leal, what is going on? April, how are you? Gregor, my friend. Greg, you won the cop cars. Make sure I got your address, Greg. Chevy, God bless you, man. Dan, what is going on? Belindo, Philip, what is going on? What's the matter, you? Chris Boudreau, always good to see you guys, man. Aristo, how are you? Eagle Eye Liberty. Peter, what is going on? How is everybody? Dennis Young, Alan, how are you guys? What's going on? Everybody hit the like button. There's over 500 people here still. Hit the like button. Hit the like button real fast. Just real quick. Remember, we stream across 4 different platforms, so there's more than just the YouTube crowd here. So, OTVO, look at all those. Jason, what is going on? Organic Crusader, American Journalism, Paul, look at all these. Great. Now, 500 people that I know of here today know that Terry versus Ohio. OTVO stickers, we don't stop. I think that's coming next, Dave. I think we're going to do bumper stickers. I just don't put any stickers on my car, so to me, it doesn't make any sense. Gloria, good to see you. All right, listen, let's get into this. This is episode 23 of American Patriot. Let me drop this link down in the comments. I suggest you go back to episode 1 and you watch every one of these episodes. They're only 10 or 15 minutes each. This one's only 10 or 15 minutes as well. And they're really, really short. So let's watch episode 23 of American Patriot. Why am I here helping these people out for myself? How's that work? Well, you know, when I was 25 and the cops charged me with 5 felonies for no reason, because I wasn't a drug dealer, I hadn't put any poison in anybody. No one was complaining about me. They just manufactured stuff. Next thing you know, I'm a drug dealer and they SWAT team my house. You made me, cops. You made me. So now, because that happened to me when I was 26 years old, 27 years old, now I do everything for myself so that this same thing doesn't happen to me, so that I don't get railroaded by these filthy swine who say, oh, I'm a good person, I'm doing the good work, as you shackle people in torture cuffs, you garbage. You can't shackle someone like a pig and then say, I'm a good person, I got a right to go home safe to my family, as you drop people off at a dungeon. Pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty. Hoodies are in. Hoodies are in. Check the website. Medium, large, extra large are all in. I got all the hoodies in again. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a hoodie. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a 5th Amendment cop card or a trifold. Put a 1 in the chat if you got a 5th Amendment cop card, a trifold, or a hoodie. Hoodies are in. Medium, large, extra large, double XL, triple XL. I have all sizes in again. So if you guys want a hoodie, hit me up. Let me know. But get a trifold first, though. Get a trifold and have that in your car. Get a 5th Amendment cop card. Have that in your wallet. The hoodie's just, you know.
There was a big meeting last night. I was just told they came through, but it looked like a big convoy of police cars, they said. And None of the officers that is known in one of the departments was asked what the deal was, because when something like that happens, it's a small town, so it's like, what the heck's going on? I'm telling you, they're scared to death of you.
Police, how you guys doing? There's people driving by waving to me, people driving by putting their fists out. Like it's happening in real time. People are driving by saying, yeah. And then you have cops are having emergency meetings because there's someone in town exposing the bad police. Why would you guys have an emergency meeting about a guy exposing the bad cops? Why aren't you cops calling me confidentially? If you notice, I haven't leaked anybody's name. Anybody who said, don't leak my name, I haven't leaked their names because I'm not going to do that to people. Even though this is all for me, I'm not going to do that to people.
Just want to let you know those cops are waiting on you down there.
Where?
At the pub.
But they're not waiting on me. I saw them.
Yeah, I know. But you don't know these guys.
What don't I know? Tell me what I don't know.
You got this, and you're stirred up a hornet's nest.
So what have I done wrong?
Nothing.
What laws have I broken?
Nobody has to do anything wrong in this town.
I mean, tell me what I did that's so bad.
I don't know that you did anything, man.
So-
I'm just saying they're sitting down there.
I'm here. They can sit down there all day. I'll go sit down there with them. Where are they at?
Right by the pub.
I have every right to go anywhere I want unmolested in America.
That's right.
What have I done wrong?
We'll go sit there. We're going to eat at the cafe. We'll go sit down there too. I think that's
You
what
guys want to go to the cafe?
Yeah.
I'll go to the cafe. Let's get a coffee. I'm going to follow you, okay?
All right.
Let's just go get a coffee and talk. Okay? I got a couple more people behind me. Oh, wait. Hey, yo, wait a second. Wait 1 second. Stop. Wait 1 second. I got to talk to this gentleman here. This gentleman wanted to defend the honor of the Blankenship. Do you guys know about the Blankenships in McKnight? You know about McKnight? Is that what you said? What about him? You're not on camera, by the way. Remember, I was just being careful because if you get put on camera in that small town in Ironton, the cops may retaliate against you. That's why I didn't face the camera at a lot of people I spoke with. They can only hear
I
you.
was living with Teresa when that happened.
You were living with Teresa when that happened? And McKnight was horrible?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Is he
he was
abusive?
way out of line. He is abusive. All these young ones are.
All the young ones are abusive. And so McKnight's hurting people?
Yeah, he
I
hurt
got
her
him on
bad.
video. I got him on video.
There he
Attack him on
goes. He hurt her bad.
But I wanted to give this gentleman here an opportunity. Can you turn that off? If you can turn. I'm just going to put him in my car.
Just go ahead. We'll go down there and order something.
No, I'm going to follow you because I'm not going down there for the cops. I'm going down there to have a coffee with you
Okay.
two. So
Okay,
if you
we'll
wait,
wait.
hey sir, will you jump in so we can have some privacy and you can tell me how you feel? I want to give you your honest time, sir. I'm a journalist. I want to. You have an equal right to be heard.
Yeah.
I would never cut you off.
Okay.
I want to give you you want to defend your family's name. God bless you for staying strong. I think they're corrupt thugs. Now I want to hear your point of view.
I wish you wouldn't say that because you're calling my grandson Stug.
Well, I've got. Can I show you the screenshots?
Yes, you can.
There's so many. Put that cigarette out and jump in the car so we can have some privacy. And I want to give you your fair due. Is that fair? Is that fair to do? To give this gentleman his fair shake? I think it is. I don't think anybody should be shut down in America. You have freedom of speech. You should be heard. Here, sir. Let me get you a bottle of water.
Oh, I'm okay. I got stuff in the.
It's. Here you go. Crack this. Your mouth's got to be dry. You're emotional. Go ahead and drink some water, brother. So first of all, tell me your name, sir.
Cecil McClellan.
Cecil McClellan. Okay. So now I've got literally a dozen people now, especially after the Blankenship comment yesterday from their brother, that said that the boys are thugs. They beat people up and hurt people. I have direct testimony from one gentleman I sat next to who cried and told me the Blankenships hurt him badly. Told me about his injuries, and he's not a druggie. He doesn't do drugs.
Yeah, right.
Is he lying?
Probably.
Okay. He's lying that the cops beat him up. And then
Maybe not. I know these boys went 12 years in school, and one of them had one fight in 12 years.
Didn't one flip over a bus when he was driving recklessly?
No.
Isn't that written up in all the papers?
He passed the school bus.
One of the pigs caused a bus to flip over. Blankenship did. That Blankenship has since retired from the Ironton Police Department. So I'm sorry, there's 6 cops that are gone since I was in Ironton. And the bus flipped over.
Smoke or something was supposed to come out of the car, and the bus hit the ditch.
The smoke came out of the car. So did he put a smoke machine in the back of the car?
No, it was his girlfriend's car.
Okay.
And the insurance company it's about blowed her car up trying to get it to smoke.
Okay.
But they've had problems before with those cars. Ford Company, they checked that.
Okay. So is the
That
car?
was just a minor.
He was
minor
charged though. He was
accident.
charged though, right?
Yes, he was.
Right. And this before he's a cop.
He couldn't become a cop because of that. He had to wait.
Oh, okay.
3 years.
How old are they right now? Those two grandsons. 22, 23.
Something like that. They're
And
in
I'm
their
47-year-old man, and I'm a constitutional law scholar. You think those guys should be able to be in charge of the law over me? You think that those guys are qualified to be the law over what I know about the law? I mean, they're writing on all their chat boards that I should go to jail. What laws have I broken?
Well, they was coming to take you to jail a while ago.
Oh, they was?
Yeah.
For what?
I don't know. That woman said they was coming after you, but you got to wait before they got there.
Hey, Ironton Police Department. I'm sitting right across from the Printing Press Express.
You're legal.
Come arrest me. Come charge me with frivolous crimes. I can't wait to file in 1983. But I want to give you the chance to defend them.
You ain't let me say what I come to say.
I know that. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Tell me.
I want to know why you're trying to ruin two young boys' career.
Because they're abusive thugs who are beating on people. I have videos. I have testimony.
I tried to keep them from even getting into this law stuff.
Of course, because only people who are terrible become cops. Okay.
No, I done
There's
my
good cops?
best. Yes, they are.
Have you been shackled like a pig before? Have you been cuffed?
I have.
How's the cuffs feel?
They hurt sometimes.
They hurt sometimes.
They don't.
They always hurt.
I ain't talking about that. I'm just asking you're trying to
defend your nephew's honor.
Your
I'd be happy to support you, Muddy. Son's honor.
run two young cops.
Okay, want me to answer?
Yeah.
I'm here because Sarah Page sent me the videos of his grandson stalking her for 10 minutes, following her on every street, finally pulling her over. You don't see the video?
She was chasing him for 10 minutes, and then
you didn't see the video? Wow, that's a delusional lie, and he laughed.
Yeah. That's all I want to know. Why you're trying to run two?
Because multiple people are contacting me for help because there's a lawless town here. That's why.
No, they're not.
They're not contacting me?
Oh, they probably are.
Why are people following me?
I don't even know who you are.
Okay, explain this to me. Why are people following me around? I just want to shake your hand. Why are people saying that to me? I'm nobody, dude. I'm a nobody. I'm a zero in the world. So why are people doing that? Why? That has changed.
They've got something to hide, and you know it.
All of them do. Every person does. What about the guy? What about the guy? We'll call him Johnny. What about Johnny, who I sat next to, who I spoke to, who said, "Here's what Blankenship did to me. First he did this, and then he hurt me badly. I had to go to the hospital."
Which Blankenship?
Well, I don't know. They only have Blankenship on their name tag. They don't have their first initial on their name tag. So if you don't know who they are, you can't identify them properly. Chance and Brandon, right?
They may have to defend themselves.
Defend themselves? How many people are attacking cops? How many people attack the police?
I don't even know if they.
No. How many people?
You're twisting words. I just come to want to know why you're.
I answered your question, sir, with respect. I'm here because I saw videos of the Blankenship brothers committing civil rights violations. It's on. You haven't seen the video?
No.
Go to the Sarah Page story on YouTube. You get to see 45 minutes of body cam footage.
On what?
On delete laws on YouTube. It's the same thing. This video is going to go on. Right now, there's 1,300 people watching you live. Most of them are probably from here.
And most of them agrees with me. Why are you trying?
No, they don't.
Trying to hurt two young kids.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Why am I trying to hurt their careers? Being a pig is not a career. It's an authoritarian garbage position.
They ain't pigs either.
Dude, they're beating people up. Cops. Yeah, so you didn't answer my question. You think a 22, 23-year-old guy and you think a 26-year-old kid should be able to tell someone who knows the law that they're in charge of the law? Do you think that's right? Or should the minimum age for police be 35?
Well, like I said, I didn't want him to.
As a 22-year-old kid?
I didn't even want him to get in it.
We agree there, sir.
I'm proud of them because they did, but I didn't.
Proud of them?
I didn't want it. Yes, I'm
Look
proud
at all
of
the
them.
heat going on right now.
I'm proud of them.
All right. All right.
Well, how'd you come? What made you come to Arden anyway?
Sarah Page and Tim Lyons. That's right. And now you know what? Johnny's story of Blankenship, he busted him up, bro. He busted. Another story of another boy getting beat in the jail where McKnight said, you know what? You need to get an attitude adjustment. Holds this person down and beats them. I have testimony.
That's McKnight. I don't know McKnight.
You think McKnight's good?
I don't know him.
But your two grandsons are impervious. They're good.
Yes.
Okay. Anything you want to say good about them for the audience?
They're all good. They're good. Everything.
All the cops are good?
I'd say they are.
All the cops are good.
I don't know them, but I'd say they are.
All lives matter, right?
Yes.
Okay. Got your position. Got your position. Thanks a lot. Let's go down and get a coffee, ladies. And I'll just keep my camera rolling. If the cops are waiting for me, let's go. If they're right down there where we're going to get a coffee, we'll find out, won't we? Oh, they're not. So there is, just so you guys know, right here, you guys can't see it. There are 5 cars behind me following me. All 5 cars have at least one person in each car who has a story about McKnight, Blankenship, Fouch, Goo. 5 cars plus those 2 women are following me through a tiny little town. So it looks like a convoy. I'm not going to pull you over for no reason.
You don't know them guys, buddy. That's why people's not really wanting to speak to you.
The people are not really want to speak to me because of why?
They're scared.
Let's go down and have a conversation where I can get you on mic, okay?
I don't want to be on film.
No, not on film. I'll just get your voice, okay? He didn't really say too much about defending the honor of those boys. He didn't really say much that was like... Oh. He just laughed at Sarah and Tim and said that the 5 videos I have of them being stalked and arrested are fake. Yeah, that makes... Meanwhile, I got Johnny, that's not his name, but Johnny, he said to me, Blankenship, what he did to me was so atrocious, was so nasty. And Johnny's scared. He doesn't want to come forward because Johnny's scared. Do you understand what I just said to you? A full-grown man is afraid. Why? I'm sorry. I guess I've been just down the line too much, especially after the TikTok debacle garbage, right? I'm not afraid. Why would I be afraid? I'm here to expose the corruption. I'm here to root out the bad cops so that the good cops can all celebrate that. Isn't that fair? That's a fair thing to say, right?
Yeah, Derek's on there saying his brothers don't beat people up. My daughter was in jail, and his brother beat her up. She was pregnant. He beat her up for no reason. She had her hands up. She wasn't resisting or nothing. He just said, well, you need a good ass whooping. And he just got her down on that jail floor and started stomping her and said she told me she had that miscarriage. They beat her black and blue, and they sent her away so nobody could see her.
Send them away where?
They sent them to Morrow County, I think, another jail, so nobody can see him.
People are listening to what you have to say, so go ahead, Amanda.
I was assaulted at work, and yes, it was Hanging Rock, actually.
It was Hanging Rock. Okay.
Hanging Rock. Cops showed up, and they told me they would look into it. And a couple of days later, the Hanging Rock cop actually came back and told me that I should have gotten his tag number, and there was nothing else they could do about it. And then that cop actually started harassing me himself.
So, just so you know, those young people in the McDonald's with me, that was the first time I heard about the Ironton cops patting down girls in the girls' bathroom in the high school. Shortly after that, Deputy Jonathan Spulgeric will resign after a woman comes forward and tells me that he raped her repeatedly through high school. So he will then resign, and now he works as a painter, along with one of the Blankenship brothers who's also resigned from Ironton. I think he's a pig in Soto or in another county now in Ohio. I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that. So if you guys want to check on the hoodies should be up online within the next couple minutes. I just text my my web guy. And so watch the video, brother. ... That's the reason we're filing the lawsuit. Next paragraph. You cannot illegally detain me and not be sued. So I'm filing another lawsuit. I'm not sure if I think the lawsuit's going to be in 2 states. I think it's going to be in Nevada and Ohio. I want to sue both sets of cops. I'll get into it later. I'm going to put everything together. I'm going to finish the lawsuit, and then I'm going to present it all in one video. That's why I haven't said anything yet. I'm just keeping it to myself right now because I've got them. I've got them, and I've got the Ohio cops for defamation. At the very minimum, I have the Ohio cops for defamation, and I think I have the Nevada cops for an illegal detainment, which I'm going to sue them over. Yeah. You don't get to illegally touch me. You don't get to illegally detain me after I pulled my shirt up and showed you I didn't have any guns or any weapons. I'm going to sue them. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. I'm going to sue them. Right on, brother. I got 500 people here on the live right now, and I just announced the hoodies, and like 4 or 5 people just said, "Hey, we're trying to buy them." LOL. Crazy. Really, really crazy. Yeah, it's so for the reason why I'm suing 2 more lawsuits, and I'm using I'm not going to go into the details of my processes, but the reason why I'm going to sue these cops again, I'm suing Nevada again, I'm suing Ohio cops again. They illegally detained me. And you don't get to illegally detain me. You can. I'm suing you. So for the Nevada cops and the Ohio cops who wrote bullshit on I got pulled over and they detained me, and then they said on the computer screen, it says I have violent tendencies with no arrests or no charges of battery, no charges of assault. Never have I been accused of being violent ever in my whole life. Ever. Nobody has ever claimed that I've done violence to them. So the Ohio cops wrote on the computer that the pigs see that I have tendencies to be violent. Those Ohio cops are going to get sued for defamation, and I'm going to sue the Nevada cops for illegally detaining me. So, yeah, I'm not a victim. I have empathy. You guys have seen me cry. I feel terrible when I see somebody get cheated or killed by the cops. It hurts me. It literally hurts me. And, I'm just not going to let pigs put their paws on me and not get sued for it. I'm suing them all. I'm suing every one of them. I can't wait to sue that Nevada supervisor. Can't wait. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Can't wait. So hoodie should be online any minute. You guys can check that. Got you, Gregor. Okay. Got you. I'll just ship it off for you, Greg. I'll ship it off for you. I'll send you the receipt and everything when it's done. It's, no, I tell you, I get mad. I mean, I want to stomp a mud hole in those pigs, right? You can't. You can't. You're going to die, and then you're going to ruin the movement that you started. I think individual city blocks around America and residential blocks should start to form little block militias. I think you should organize with your friends, family, and neighbors to form little militias of every block in this country. We have a Second Amendment right for a well-regulated militia. I think every single person here should reach out to your neighbors on your block and form a well-regulated block militia. And then that one block should attach to 3 others and make a 4-block militia. And then that 4 block should attach to 2 more over here, make a 6 block. And then 2 more over here, make an 8 block. And then take that 8 and go 8, make a 16 block. So that the communication lines, and you should practice this because we're going into an absolute unknown future. We know the government doesn't care about us, that they'll easily kill us, easily cage us, easily watch us be murdered on camera in the dungeon, and no charges are brought. How are no charges brought? I just don't understand that. How is Holly Barlow's death just going completely unaccounted for? There's no accountability. I hope other auditors see that video of Holly from the Vicious channel, and I hope other auditors share that video. It's just, you're welcome to share my video. I don't care. It's just, they hate us. You got it correct, Chris. They hate us. We are, they're trying to replace us. They're trying to let illegals come in, replace your job, replace police, replace your military. They're trying to have people from other countries come in because they'll just be happy to be here. They would never stand on their rights. They're happy to be in America, out of El Salvador, out of Ecuador, out of Colombia, out of Ukraine, out of Israel. They'll come over and serve in our military, and then they're in charge of us. They'll come over and serve as cops. Why? So that you will fall into line, because that illegal immigrant that is enforcing tyrannical laws upon you, his goal is to make sure he gets his citizenship, so he'll do whatever the government tells him to do. And that's the home run problem that we're facing right now. That's the home run problem that we're facing right now. You have to go to your city council, and I'm going to do this in California. We do not want illegal immigrants as cops. We do not want illegal immigrants in our military. They're trying to replace us. They're trying to replace us. Put a 1 in the chat if you know this is true. They're trying to replace you. All right. I plan on being here for an hour. I canceled my 3 o'clock appointment. Now it's 5 o'clock. I should get the floor. Oh, you know what? There's one more. Okay. The hoodies are up. Hoodies are up. Hoodies are updated. Stocks are updated. If you guys want your hoodie, you better hurry. They'll sell out quick. About 2 weeks is what it took last time. And now I'm down to my last few. So if you guys want to get your hoodies, go to the website right now, deletelaws.com, and get your hoodie. We don't stop. The back of this is even cooler than the front, in my opinion. Let me see if you guys can see it. Can you see the back of this bad chicken? Team DLZ on the back. Team DLZ on the back. So this and by the way, you know, the hoodie is top of the line. It's this hoodie. This isn't some Teespring hoodie that you ordered that some creator, some YouTuber created, some store from Zimbabwe, and they send you the cheapest, grossest material there is. No. This is the top of the line hoodie. It is. And people in the chat will tell you, this is a top of the line hoodie. It is thick. It is warm. The silk screening on this is top of the line. I've washed this a dozen times. Top of the line. You know, I can't sell you guys dog shit. You know, do not buy anything that's a t-shirt from a random t-shirt provider. Do not buy a sweatshirt from somebody from some random sweatshirt provider. Make sure that the YouTuber or the creator or the Instagrammer, if they created that t-shirt or hoodie, make sure they did it. Because the difference between my hoodie and another hoodie is this is quality. I'm telling you, everybody in the chat, if you have a hoodie, let them know. This is a badass hoodie. So Grateful Dabs, you have to refresh your browser. If you're trying to get a hoodie, you have to refresh your browser. They're there. My web guy doesn't miss. He doesn't ever miss. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, they do run a little bit small. Wyatt said they do run a little small. They run a little bit small. I don't know why, but they do. So if you wear an XL, get a double XL. If you wear a large, get an XL. If you wear a medium, get a large. So well, the medium and large don't really run that much smaller than. I mean, I can put a medium on and I'm 210 pounds. So I can put a medium on. It is tight, but I can get into medium. All right, listen, I've got to get the flock out of here. I did not plan on being 3 hours. I was going to do 1 hour today and get the flock out of here. Kevin, did I send you a tracking number on that? Because I personally shipped your hoodie, Kevin. I personally put your hoodie in a bag, personally took it to the post office, and I personally shipped it. So did I give you a, you got to refresh your browser. It'll just take a second. Double check that they posted, please. I just sent that off to the web guy. Yeah. So Darla, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. We have them all in stock now. So that they will be there. I promise. Just give it. Oh, it took you 15 days, Dave. So just so you guys know, it takes 2 weeks to get from LA to the East Coast. It took Dave 15 days to get his. And I ship right away. I barely miss 1 day in between. If you order on Tuesday, if it's not shipped on Wednesday, it's shipped on Thursday. Like there's no delay for what I do. I'm all over it like white on rice. All right, listen, I got to get the flock out of here. You guys, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. Team DLZ rocks. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, Gators.